Keep coming home.
Good morning, Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the World Wide Web. This is the Morning Roast for Thursday, May 9th, 2013. It's 8:03 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. This is yours truly, DB, with Irv and Ed, and is somewhere in traffic, somewhere trying to get here. And we're coming into you live from the Nut House.
Yeah, good morning,
and
everybody.
adjacent downtown Macon.
I see we got our early birds over here.
Yes.
Glad to see Edward Mampa on so early, and the Bean, of course.
Yes, C Fluke is there, and Unga Bunga is over there. New guy.
Unga Bunga.
Captain Caveman!
Well,
Yes.
wasn't that the guy that was Unga Bunga? It was Bugs Bunny. That was part of his.
Yeah, Mel Blanc. He used to do the
Unga
voice for
Bunga,
Captain Caveman.
He was doing some kind of incantation.
Cowabunga, dude.
Yes.
Cowabunga, there he is.
There he is. Yes,
Yeah,
we're on.
We just got him.
Think gonna wait for your slow ass?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dead giveaway.
Was your
I
car
knew something was
downtown?
wrong when
Hey.
a white woman ran to a black man's arms.
Was your car downtown last night?
No, shouldn't have been.
There was one.
Unless somebody borrowed it.
There was sitting one by roasted.
No, I wasn't out last night.
Wow. Well,
Dead giveaway.
I guess you could go ahead and take the sign off.
No,
'cause
I
he's-
think
Leave it. I like it. What did Edward called an interview with the Antpire. That's what
Yeah,
Edward wrote.
that's what my brother wrote.
over
He
by-
wrote it on the underneath the picture on the Facebook page.
Oh, really?
He wrote interview with an Antpire because of the cross behind me and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, baby. Yeah, the annoying guy just arrived.
That's great. We need the energy. Anyway, chat is already going on.
What are they going off on?
We love your show, he said, my brother. Sure, Ant isn't sleeping it off this morning.
No.
No.
I stayed home last night, actually.
Yeah, you did.
Stayed home with the lady.
Which lady?
Lady.
Lady!
Anyway, how's your morning so far?
Pretty good. I had a croissant sausage egg biscuit. And I had my green tea, which I'm in the middle of drinking right now.
Well, that's pretty good. That's good to know. Yes.
Well, he asked me how my
Green.
morning was.
But speaking
That's
of
good
which,
to know you had a feast this morning.
yes, you know, Urek made some blueberry muffins.
Uh-oh.
Courtesy of Urek. He
Call them conspiracy muffins.
I was going to say
Oh,
something
man.
about conspiracy.
Hey, there are two of them, Urak.
Hey.
Do they represent the Twin Towers?
One of them's flatter
But
than
it's-
the other.
Go
Oh,
green.
I'm sorry,
Four of
over
them.
here too.
Go green.
Thank you, Urak.
Go green.
Yeah, really green.
Oh, my brother says, and you drink of blood? Yeah. Oink, oink.
Go green.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lord have mercy. What is that fat? Ugh.
That's Junebug.
That's
The other
Junebug.
June.
The other
That's
June.
not Sammy Davis Jr. Junebug. That's the other June.
That's Honey Boo Boo's mama.
That's
Her name is
June.
Junebug?
Well, June. It's not Junebug. That's June.
That's
Bag.
June with a bug up her nose.
That's June
Yeah.
Bag. June Bag. I'm trying to find my stories. Oh, here we go. I wrote 3 or 4 down. Hey, you hear about this soap opera woman that died?
Yeah.
Like 40 years
Oh,
ago?
yeah. She
I
was,
mean, who the hell is she? I didn't watch soap
What's her
operas.
name?
Gene something.
Yeah.
Gene,
I could get her.
40 years on, I think, One Life to Live, Ed.
Wait a minute. Let me.
I think it was 40 years. She did 40
And that's
years.
all she did. She had one life being on that show.
She had 40 years on one. This isn't it. This is another story.
Jean was her name.
Just put in Soap Star Dies Jean, and it'll come up.
It's all over Facebook.
Yeah, it's she was like, you recognize her face. I didn't watch soaps, but I kind of recognize her face from the commercial. Her.
Oh, okay, I know.
Her
Okay,
and
Jean
Bill.
Cooper. Yes,
Yeah.
Jean Cooper.
There we
She
go.
dies at the age of 84. She was
Young
American
Wrestlers.
Superstar of the Young
Live
Wrestlers.
forever. Fucking get over it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 84 is a
She's-
pretty good number.
Yeah, she
If
was.
I could make it to 84,
Yeah, for a
hell,
pigeon,
I'm
she
happy.
flew far.
Yes, there's a play that she played.
She went green.
Yeah, she played the wealthy matriarch Catherine K. Chancellor on the popular daytime drama The Young and the Restless, a role that she played from 1973 until her death. CBS Entertainment said they have yet to determine how Cooper's character will be written out of the show. And
How about you just say she died?
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, you write it out of the show.
Let's make it disappear on a freaking
Her-
spaceship.
Let's say she went to a Vegas magic show
Yes.
and David Copperfield made her disappear.
No.
Yes, her son, L.A.
She
star
moved to
Corbin,
Macon.
Corbin
She was
Benson.
kidnapped.
Corbin Burnson.
Oh, is her son?
No,
Corbin?
she was kidnapped.
Yes.
That'd be a great takeoff. She was kidnapped, and now they're looking for her.
Right.
Yes.
Then they find a body floating somewhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her son was
New York.
L.A. star Corbin Burnson, who was
Okay, I didn't know
who was
that.
said last night, "My mother passed away this morning, just a short time ago. Peaceful with my sister and her by her side in her sleep."
Wow. Well,
Corbin Burnson's mother.
Yes, and it was just recently this year that CBS celebrated the 40th anniversary of Young and the Restless, the creation of Young and the Restless earlier this year.
well, that was a death knell for her.
Mm-hmm.
40 years. Oh, I'm that old.
40
Maybe she
years
started.
old? Yeah.
She looks like somebody from Macon, doesn't she? Like the old money from
Everybody
Macon.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now she's starring in Old and Just Resting.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, when you put it
Up,
that
in the,
way.
Now-
up
now-
in the pearly gates.
yeah.
Old and Just Resting,
Yeah.
starring Gene Cooper.
In other news, General Hospital celebrated
resting
its
now,
50th
Joe.
anniversary,
Wow.
but so far, all the cast members are still alive.
Some of them.
Some
I
of
think
them.
a guy from that show died about 2 years ago.
Well, we also have that
Rest
other
in
girl
peace,
in the news.
Gene Cooper.
We have that Jodi Arias.
Guilty.
Guilty. She was
So-
found guilty of murder.
So she did not get away with it.
Phoenix
No, she did
jury
not get the plea
yesterday.
pass. She's found guilty.
Yeah, a Phoenix jury yesterday convicted Jodi Arias of first-degree murder for the brutal slaying of a one-time lover. And afterwards, she declared that she wanted to be put to death. The aspiring artist in a somber gray blouse and dark blue suit. You notice how they always do that with like women?
Yes.
They always have to mention like what they're wearing, and
Well, because there's
they
a
never
reason-
say that with a guy
Well, because
wearing
there's
a
a-
gray jacket and a
Because
blue
there's
tie.
a reason they're wearing that stuff. That's all. Anytime you go to court for something that big,
I think
it's
you come up with a good
it's
story for
all planned out by her attorneys and everything. Of how
She's
to
a fashion
dress,
icon.
how to look.
Mhm.
I mean, because they're trying to ingratiate themselves with the jurors. They're trying to get on the good side of the jurors, so they're going to do whatever they can, all the way to how they dress. You know, so
So
it's all a game. It's
anyway,
like a chess match in the courtroom.
well, anyway,
You
the
gotta
aspiring
dress your
artist.
queens and kings and your pawns and your knights and your rooks accordingly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
blue suit she wore swallowed hard
Swallowed.
and looked distraught.
What?
Swallowed.
What?
She swallowed hard and
Okay.
looked distraught. This is the New York Post. What do you want?
This has got a lot of sexual metaphor in it.
No. Arias.
Swallowed
Anus.
hard.
Arias. Anus. No.
Wow.
Arias, who claimed the killing.
Areola. Areola.
Yeah, no, Arias, who claimed the killing was a case of self-defense. Shed no tears while the victim, Travis Alexander's family, cried and hugged. The 32-year-old could face the death penalty for the 2008 crime, and minutes after the verdict, she told the local TV station that's the sentence she's hoping for. Well, and that's it. That's the meat and potatoes.
She's ready to just throw in the towel.
Well,
She figured I did it. I know I did it. I'm gonna try to say I didn't do it, and maybe I'll get lucky like Casey Anthony, but I didn't get lucky. So the hell with it. I don't want to live in prison.
yeah,
have
I
to
don't want
deal
to
with
think
all those
about
people.
this.
Yeah,
And
Just
think
go
about.
ahead and put me to death.
Well, Casey Anthony she wasn't stupid enough to have a freaking camera, you know.
No, but she was pretty stupid. That's what's beyond me of why she got off, because she did some pretty stupid stuff.
You think in some weird way she wanted to get caught?
Who knows? Who knows?
I guess it's just a way of saying sour grapes, but that's just, you know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
She probably got the fame that she was somewhat looking for. She just probably wanted it in another aspect, in another way, but she got it that way. So there
Well,
you go.
in other news,
Yes. Oh, yes.
we got. You got something, or I got something?
I got something.
Yes,
But
I
I
had
don't know if I'm
something.
gonna do my something yet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about this because I saw before you start with this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this on the news last night, and they interviewed my buddy, and I think Derek knows him as well.
Mm-hmm.
They interviewed Stick, aka Michael
Yeah, I got the
McGurk.
story.
Michael McGurk.
From Billy's.
Yeah, and he does karaoke there and Sticks, and of course Jason Moss's band Sugar Virus plays
I
guitar.
sent you
Oh, yeah.
But go with that beautiful bean.
Being footage.
No, or your
Roll
story.
it.
Go
Oh,
the
okay.
footage.
Go.
The footage got fucked up. I couldn't download it.
Oh, okay.
Go with the story.
Well, Monroe murder victims last seen at Billy's Clubhouse in Macon. Authorities remain tight-lipped about the investigation into the murder of two Monroe County men. The victims, Russell Jacobs and James Pittman Wood, were brothers-in-law. They were discovered dead by Wood's father at their house on Woods Road Tuesday. Allison Selman Willis, public information officer for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, sent a letter to the media saying until there is a significant update, no one in the department will be talking to the press. But some of the victims' friends are talking. WGXA's Chase Ambrose spoke off camera with one of Russell Jacobs' friends who says Jacobs and Wood were at Billy's Clubhouse in Macon on Monday night where they had gotten into an altercation at the bar. Michael McGurk, who was working karaoke at Billy's on Monday. He confirms that the two men were at the bar, but he says a fight did not take place. He says the guys were just sitting at the bar. I didn't see anybody leave else with them, and there was no kind of indication that there had been any kind of fight inside or out. I didn't see anybody leave after they left. I knew pretty much everyone that was in there, and they stayed throughout the night, Michael McGurk said. He also says that the victims left the bar approximately around 9:30 p.m. One of our sources say that one of the victims' vehicles was discovered wrecked down the street from the victim's home Monday night. According to that source, deputies ran the tags on the vehicle and knocked on the door of the victim's house but left when there was no answer. The information has not been yet confirmed by the authorities. Officials say they believe that the motive for the murder was robbery.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was Chase that wrote that, right?
No, that's Chase that.
Yeah, Chase Ambrose.
Chase did the actual.
Interview.
Chase did
Interview.
the actual He did the actual news footage, news story on the news last night.
Right. Okay.
What they
It was
did
from
is
the News
basically,
Central staff.
Yeah, they just basically take what is from that story on
Right.
on the TV and they transcribe it onto the
Okay.
website.
Well,
But that's basically what Chase said was all that, and that's basically the interview section that Michael McGurk also
Right.
gave to Chase. So,
well,
well, I mean, what do you say about it? It happens. I mean, there's bad people.
happens.
There's
and,
bad people
and
out
Billy's
there.
Clubhouse is so-called nice as it is in like this big gigantic mall. It just
Well, not a gigantic mall.
well,
it's not big.
Look at the size
It's
of that parking
It's a little
lot.
strip. It's a little strip mall type place.
Yeah,
You know, it's got
stuck
a gas
in the middle of a
station
lot of
next
big
to
malls.
it and well, no, you're mixing it up. Billy's,
No, I was there. I spent almost an hour and a half there waiting on this schmo
right?
to
But
pay me my
Billy's is
$100.
across the street from Rivalries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
owner
over on
still owes me $100.
North side. Yeah, that's across from Rivalries. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a huge spot. It's
Yeah,
okay.
figures. Maybe the guy was from Rivalries and he decided to go to Billy's. Rivalries is notorious to have, gangbangers and that kind of stuff in there. I actually was there one day when they picked somebody up, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden they got this guy on all fours just carrying him out, throwing him out.
Right.
Tough place.
Well, if
Lot-
you have any information, call the 1877.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is
okay.
it? 1877.
Is it 1870
Some-
1-800?
1-877-68 crime, I believe.
Yes,
1-877-68 crime. Call that number if you have any information on the two murdered Monroe County men.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
All right. Well, if they catch those
Leroy
people,
Brown.
they'll probably send them to jail.
Yeah.
But speaking of jail and prison,
Mm-hmm.
we have a 33-year-old Russian man escapes from maximum security prison in Russia
Wow.
by using a spoon.
Mm.
Yes!
He spooned his way
He
out of there.
spooned
Yeah.
his way out of here. Opened in 1946, the Russian prison Matroskaya Tashina. That's
With that name, they'll never find him.
Tashina. Well, that's the name of the prison.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
As I said, Oleg Topolov, 33 years old, escaped. Apparently what he did is he used a single spoon to dig a hole through the ceiling and then opened a ventilation shaft, climbing to the roof, and escaping by climbing over the perimeter fence.
Wow. So it's kind of like the Matroskaya redemption.
Yes. Yes! He was sentenced,
Chernyenko.
he was sentenced for double murder.
Gorbachev.
He was sentenced for double murder
The only Russian
and
words I know.
arms trafficking.
Wow.
And he is the fourth person in 20 years to escape that prison. Only
Wow.
4 have escaped that prison.
Well, him and Andropov. Remember Andropov?
Well, he
The
didn't. He,
president who had like big stain on his head?
no, that's
Remember?
Gorbachev.
Oh,
You're
Gorbachev.
mixing up your child.
Andropov
You're
was the
mixing
one
up your
that died
child.
earlier. There was like 3 Russian leaders that died like within 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, quote, a large reward for his recapture is being offered. And under Russian law, he only faces an additional 4 years of incarceration.
Yeah, but they'll give him
Once
hard
they-
labor.
Once they capture him again.
Yeah, well, they'll give him hard labor.
There's some international news for all our Russian friends.
Yes.
Yes.
You can get out of prison sometimes
Mm-hmm.
with a spoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this. Let me say this too, even though these people probably do not ring a bell with any of you. This prison, Matroskaya Tashina, is also home to some high-profile prisoners such as Sergei Magnitsky and Mikhail Khodorkovsky. I just like saying these names, is why I wrote them down.
Yeah.
I just want to say Oleg Topolov, Sergei Magnitsky, Mikhail
You have to say
Khodorkovsky.
that.
They escaped from Matroskaya Tashina.
We got a birthday out there.
What?
We got a birthday.
Who?
What's today, the night?
Yes.
Is it?
This photo guy?
Yeah,
Photo
yes,
guy.
Is he on there? No.
We got, yeah, he is.
Yes, yes.
Happy
yes.
birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Diaz.
birthday, pal.
Let's sing it to, this is to our fellow Taurus,
Here we go.
Taurian. Happy birthday to you. Yes, photo guy.
Happy birthday to you.
Takes pictures of decapitated people.
Happy
Birthday, dear DS photo guy.
Cut off penises.
Happy birthday to you.
Loves the animals.
There you go, buddy. Hope the dogs are barking for you.
Many.
Speaking of birthdays, there are some other special May 9th birthdays.
Okay, that's cool.
Grammy
Then I got a follow-up to
Well,
a
no,
local
not first.
story we did yesterday.
Mikhail Khodorkovsky.
No, 6-time Grammy Award winner Billy Joel. He turned 64 years old today.
That all?
Only the good die.
That
Yeah.
guy
He
looks
has a
older
really
than-
hot daughter, but I'm just
Yeah, he aged pretty badly.
Alexis, right?
Yes, Alexis.
Alexia or something.
Billy Joel.
All right.
Lisa
Piano
Ann.
man.
Lisa Ann, age
Who
41.
the hell is Lisa
She's
Ann?
a quote-unquote popular adult film star since the 90s. Porn star Lisa
Oh, you
Ann,
started
41.
with her in that movie, didn't you?
Popular
No,
adult
that was a
film
whole.
star,
That was a totally
Lisa
other
Ann.
movie. But
You know, next time somebody comes up to you and says, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" You say, "You watch porn?"
Lisa Ann is 41, but her coochie is 141.
The late 60 Minutes reporter Mike Wallace was born on this day, 1918.
Well, he better arrive
would have
on
been
time.
95 today.
He's another one who's decomposing now. Who else?
Let's see.
John Lennon.
The lovely Rosario Dawson, has turned 34 today. She's multi-ethnic actress, been in movies such as Rent, Sin City, and 7 Pounds.
Now wait a minute. Do we have to have the multi-ethnic in there? Is that even necessary for them to call her a multi-ethnic act? Can we get rid of these hyphens?
Okay,
Can't we
well, okay,
just say
she's a black
an actress?
Latina.
Can we just say, can we just say she's an actress?
Quasi
We
mad
have to say
scientist.
multi-ethnic.
And she's an underground mad
Oh, my
scientist.
goodness.
I mean, shit.
By the
I'm
way,
all
just to go back
multi-ethnic.
real quick to Billy Joel,
Mm-hmm.
Unga Bunga says Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong on side. This dude is a herpes of music.
Wow. It says Tom.
Thank you, Unga Bunga.
Oh yeah, DS Photo Guy. Tom Peterson's Cheap Trick's birthday is today too. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
The Cheap
Billy
Trick guy.
Joel's birthday, not Joe, but I still like the
Yes.
the
Also,
point you made, Unga Bunga.
Bye,
Can't-
Edward.
Candace Bergen is turned 67 today. The daughter of Edgar Bergen, who also is best known as TV's Murphy Brown.
Yes.
Who's the daughter of Edgar Bergen, who had Charlie McCarthy as ventriloquist
dummy.
dummy.
And she, of course, was the brunt of Dan Quayle's attack way back. Remember
Mm-hmm.
when he was against the whole single-parent household thing?
Yeah.
You remember that, guys?
No.
You don't remember that? You don't remember when Murphy Brown was on?
Yeah.
And Dan Quayle was making a big hoop-to-do
Oh,
about,
yeah.
about single moms is not the way to go. And this
Yeah, and
show
she
teaches
went off
you
on him.
wrong. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
That was way back during the Quayle years.
Yeah.
That was a really intelligent guy.
Oh yes.
Sarcastic.
That was one of the worst vice presidents, don't you
that's
think?
what yeah, he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That's why I was being sarcastic. Yeah, he was pretty bad.
Yes.
That was almost as bad as that was about as bad as if Joe Biden became president.
Yeah, Mr.
If
Potato Head.
Dan Quayle became president.
Yeah.
Unga Bunga says potato, Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato.
That was a real Mr. Potato Head.
Albert Finney, a British actor who starred in Aaron Brockovich. He turned 77 today.
He's a good actor.
Yes, Howard Carter was born on this day, 1874. He's an archaeologist who uncovered
Yes.
the secrets of King Tut's tomb.
Yes.
John Brown was also born on this day in 1800. He led the armed attacks against slavery at Harper's Ferry, Virginia.
Yes.
John Corbett, age 52, rose to fame in his roles in Sex and the City and the United States of Terror. He turns 52 today. James L. Brooks turned 73. He's the producer of Terms of Endearment and The Simpsons. Bart! Bart!
Don't have a cow, man.
Why, you little...
By the way, Diaz Photograph says Tom Peterson of Cheap Tricks birthdays today too.
Awesome. I love some Cheap Trick.
I was a big fan.
Yeah, she told me there'll be girls like you.
Yep.
Yeah, she told me stay away. You'll never
Also,
know what you'll catch.
Another musician, David Gahan,
Surrender.
turned
Depeche
51.
Mode. David
Singer
Gahan.
David Gahan. He's
From-
from Depeche Mode.
Reach out and touch
Touch
faith.
faith.
Do your own
Personal Jesus.
It sounds like you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
master and servant.
Oh yes, Hudson Like. I haven't heard her for years.
I never heard of her, period.
Portrayed the role of Callisto. Portrayed the role.
Heard of her, period?
The
Never heard of her.
The super hot blonde actress. She was known as she was in shows such like Melrose Place, and she was best known as portrayed the role of Callisto on Xena, Warrior Princess with Lucy
okay.
Law.
Oh, she was the other lesbian.
She turned 44.
This guy looks like President Obama's doppelganger
I know,
right here.
that's
This Doug
true.
Christie guy
Doug
looks like
Christie.
Obama. A little
Yes, he
bit.
turns 43 today. Former basketball player for the LA Lakers and New York Knicks. Yes. And that's pretty much all
Who's
we
that
know.
right there? Go back up. Who's that? Sean Altman? Up. No, up. No, not down.
Okay.
Up.
Oh,
There we
the
go.
Bean says, do you
Scroll
know
up.
that Corbin Burnson was her son?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
How could it be her? How was it that he was her son? He's not alive, or
No, he is.
Did
no,
she disown him?
She's dead.
She's dead.
Not
Corbin
that he's
isn't.
dead. She's dead. Irvin has missed the first half hour of this show.
Anyway,
No, he's on Skype.
yeah.
Herb's on Skype.
let me see. Oh, C-Flux says get your Civil War expert on to talk about how John Brown
Oh, Bryant, come on down. Let's talk about some
started
John
the
Bryant.
war by
Downtown
attacking the
John
arsenal at
Bryant.
Harper's Ferry and
Downtown
scaring the
Cootie Brown.
slaveholders.
Look, that's Al Tillman.
Actually, that's Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn, he turns 53 today. He's best known for being a big hitter, played 20 seasons for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's pretty much all our May
All
9th
right,
celebrity
guys.
birthdays.
Thank you. That was a great show. Let's wrap it up.
We now became a half-hour show.
Wow.
No, but we can move into this now because those people right there want their birthday cake and to eat it too. And speaking of eating, you hear about this French surfer that got killed by a shark?
Wow.
All right, Saibuki, it's your turn. Saibuki, start bad-mouthing the French because here we go. Yes, a honeymooning surfer dies from a shark attack.
Wow.
A
Ate
French
him up.
surfer, who they will not name, was fatally attacked by a shark Wednesday at Reunion Island. The attack occurred at Bressons de Saint-Gilles, and the couple was from Morteau, which is in eastern France. The species of the shark that attacked this man is unknown. He was a 36-year-old surfer, bitten on the arm and thigh, and he lost a lot of blood and went into cardiac and respiratory arrest. This is the third attack in the past 2 years, and as I said, the species of the shark is unknown.
You know, we're invading their territory, so I'm sorry.
Well,
that
that's-
guy was sitting in his living room. No
That's
freaking,
right. That's
unless
right.
you're on a Saturday Night Live skit.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
When the shark came knocking
Right.
on the door?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well, see
Not
that
gonna get bitten by a shark.
you're exactly right. That's why I have to say this. Okay, you know what? It shows kind of the mentality of the human species. The I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm above you, and the attitude they have. Because you're right. You know, anytime you have that happen where there's a shark out there and the shark's attacking people, what do? Oh, let's get our posse together and go after the shark. Let's go kill the shark. Let's go after that bastard shark. But you're right. You invaded the shark's area. You trespassed. Okay? So, what happens. It's like with bears. When bears maul people, you know, shit, you went in the woods. Your ass went out there,
Shit,
okay?
you went in the-
Yeah,
that's
you're at
where the
their
bear
house.
lives, okay? So, I mean, take it like a man.
So basically, that's a burglar.
Or a woman.
Right. I mean, exactly. I mean, you know, it happens. It's risks we all take in life. You take risks. You know the risks. And hey,
you
sometimes
roll
you
the
win,
dice and
sometimes
you get
lose.
snake eyes sometimes.
The guy wanted to go surfing. He was on his honeymoon. He wanted a piece, and the shark took a piece of him.
Exactly.
Well, it's better than being eaten alive by piranhas.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, one gulp and he's gone, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Piranhas is a
this guy
slow
went
death.
to cardiac arrest. He basically was bit on the arm and thigh and then lost too much blood, and then it said he went into cardiac and respiratory.
Oh, wow.
They pulled him out of there. Lifeguards pulled him out, but they couldn't help
Just
him
severed a
because he lost
artery.
too
Yeah, it
much.
was
He
too
lost too
much.
much blood.
Wow.
So
And
But speaking of some animal attacks,
okay,
yes.
we're still gonna read this local story as a hookup, but
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah, let's
that's a
stick with
better
the
segue.
animals. We're on the animals.
Yes.
Let's stick with
That-
the
yeah,
animals.
let's
It's
stick with
DS's
animals.
birthday, for God's sake. He wants to hear about animals.
Yes, horror as a bear on a bike eats a monkey at the end of a circus cycle race. How
Yeah, I
about
see
that?
See, the monkey.
That's
should've known-
weird news.
See, the monkey should have known to stay away from that bear on a bike. I mean, he's in the bear's biking territory.
See, a monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, a monkey was
Just
mauled.
go ahead. I'm just kidding.
A monkey was mauled by a bear after a disturbing circus stunt went wrong. A video has emerged online of two monkeys and a black bear being forced to ride bicycles around a track in front of a large crowd. After 2 laps of the track, one of the monkeys crashed and the bear then attacks it as it lies stuck under the bicycle. Wow. The gruesome video is believed to have been shot at the Shanghai Wild Animal Park in China, which has hit the headlines in the past for its Wild Animal Olympics. In the video, the audience can be heard cheering and laughing as the animals are sent riding around the small arena. Circus workers holding sticks push the small bikes off, but after a few seconds, one monkey and the bear crash. Staff can be seen desperately trying to force the bear off as it grabs a small monkey in its mouth. At one stage, 3 workers dressed in brightly colored costumes try to wrestle the bear away, while another leads the second monkey away. So bears can get road rage too?
I guess. That bear said, "I don't think it's funny that you're monkeying around with me." Yep.
Wow.
That was a Ursa Major catastrophe.
Monkey. A
Wow.
monkey and a bear.
A monkey and a bear walk into a bar. one
Yeah,
day.
a monkey and a bear are riding around in a circus on a bike.
Going to a bar.
And then, you know, look at the picture. We can't show it, but isn't it mighty funny here that the circus, whatever, tamer, ringmaster is dressed like the man in the yellow hat from Curious George.
Dang.
And a
man.
monkey gets mauled. Look at this is the man in the yellow hat.
Because he knows somebody go down.
I mean, well, look, it was Curious George with the man in the yellow hat.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
That's
Curious George goes to the circus.
He's got yellow clothes on,
A
too.
monkey walked into a bar. He got a concussion.
That's bad. That's bad.
Well,
You know, I woke up with my shoulder hurting. I think I slept on the wrong
Should
side.
Speaking of animals mauling and fighting, Christina Crawford, the daughter of Joan Crawford,
Yes.
she's carving up mommy again.
No.
She's
wire
putting on a
hangers.
Is it not that she's 73 because she's that old?
Wow.
Christina Crawford might want to resolve her mommy issues. That's the main feeling evoked by Surviving Mommy Dearest, a bizarre show in which Crawford rehashes the abuse she suffered at the hands of her adopted movie star mother, Joan. Then again, we've seen and heard most of this before in the book and the film Mommy Dearest, the latter which, thanks to Faye Dunaway's over-the-top performance as Joan, has become Camp Treasure. The theater has always been, look at how weird this is, how much she's charging. The theater has always been magic to me, Crawford announces early on, but you wouldn't know it from the multimedia hodgepodge. It basically consists of screening of a DVD, of a shoddy produced 71-minute documentary, followed by a brief question and answer with the audience. Whether this is worth $40 a ticket is debatable. Then again, Mother's Day is just around the corner, and some folks just can't get enough dish.
That's right.
Wow.
He's cashing in. He's trying
Yeah.
to cash in.
She's going back to...
Where does that play? Where is it playing?
I'll
What
let you
theater?
know now. All told, this torty string of allegations are augmented by clips from never-before-seen home movies from the 40s. Was Joan really responsible for the untimely death of her fourth husband? Pepsi-Cola CEO Alfred Seal, who knows? But it's fun to hear her daughter coyly describe the time of the uncles when a string of men came calling on Joan after her divorces. These included Yul Brynner, who shirtless appears at their front door filled Christina with terror.
Oh, Yul Brynner,
On
man.
her
Mr.
decision
Clean,
to go,
Mr.
Yul
Clean.
Brynner, man.
On her decision to go to the funeral parlor to view her mother's body, Crawford jokes, I had to know that she was really dead. At the question and answer, she was asked how her revelations have tarnished the memories fans have of her mother's work. It's not my problem, she replied. True enough, but that doesn't make it easier to endure this vanity production.
Woo!
She's
Do you
still
think she
going
has
at
legit-
it,
do you
and
think
it's
she has
still
leg-
Mother's Day.
Yeah, this upcoming
Yeah, no,
weekend.
I mean, she's just, come on, she's living off of that one moment in time.
Now, of course,
Called
people are going to
Mommy
go out and
Dearest.
see Mommy Dearest again.
Well, do you think
I
she
mean-
has legitimate reasons to be pissed off?
She's
or,
got
or-
legitimate reasons to do anything she
Because-
wants,
yeah.
I guess. But my thing is that, you know, it's like, I kind of question. She completely and constantly complained about how badly she was treated as a child, right?
Right.
You know, she wrote a book about it, and she went on talk shows, and then they made this movie about it. You know, and my whole thing is that, wait a
Great
minute.
movie, by the way.
It is a great movie, but the thing about it is that, come on, isn't she kind of just cashing in on her misfortune? And isn't it more so now like, you know, it wasn't really that bad because I'm willing to just kind of make a lot of money off of it and put it together as a theater show. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. to me, you would think that if somebody really had that horrible of a childhood, and I'm not saying she didn't, but it seems like if she had that horrible of a childhood, she would want to get it out of her system, which is what she did with the
Right,
book,
with the movie.
and then move on, right?
Right.
Not cash in on it decades later and continue to try to cash in on it.
Well, she
Because
obviously
then it
has
just-
a residue of
this-
hate.
Yeah,
for her
people hold grudges, man.
Well, I
People
know
hold
they
grudges like
do,
a vice. I mean, there was. I
But
remember
is this
part-
a grudge at this point, or is this
Oh,
just her
yeah,
trying to make a lot of
no
damn
doubt,
money?
there's a grudge
Or do
feeling.
you think it's a lot of damn money she's trying to make? Is
Maybe
this
it's a little bit.
grudge?
Maybe it's a
I mean,
little bit of
making
both.
money
Is this
over
a grudge, or is this just, hey,
Probably,
she's trying to be a
probably
captain?
both.
Yeah.
Probably
So
both.
what are you
right
giving away
Yeah.
today now?
Oh yeah, go on the Facebook page. We're giving away our first DVD to the first caller.
We're giving off our first DD.
The picture is on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's for
here
a
we go.
movie. It's for a cult classic called Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. You can
And-
see the picture of it on the
And how do they
Facebook
win it?
page. All you gotta do is call us. Now I was thinking
Lines are open.
The lines are open. Just
you-
call.
But you can't say I'm calling
I got
for
it
the
right here.
DVD. You got to call for whatever. You got to talk about a subject we're talking about, or you have to bring up something yourself that you want to get off your chest.
And what's the phone number?
I
The
suck
phone number-
goat.
yes.
It's
I-
on the freaking screen.
Oh, okay,
You
great.
see, y'all don't pay attention to this shit.
I don't have to.
Oh,
I
it's
have a laptop.
478. It's 478-254-6287.
I'm on a story, you prick.
That's 478-254-6287. Or as they say, I suck goats.
And also, what we didn't tell you that when you call, this makes it a little more exciting. I thought of this last night. When you call, you are also subjected to us asking you a personal question.
Uh-oh, come on.
Yes.
You didn't put that as one
No,
of the...
but let's think about it, because this is a good thing to do. Because everybody's always on the computer and we only know them by name, we don't know really how they look other than the ones we're friends with on Facebook and we see their pictures. We only know them by name, and we don't really know like what kind of personality that some of them have, right?
Right.
It's a very secretive format here.
Yes.
So they have to answer a question. It's not going to be like a rude question. You just have to answer one question from one of us about something about you. It might be something like, how old are you? And you have to give us your age, right? Okay, and you got to be honest now. You can't call and make up a bullshit answer.
Right.
But
Not like these guys.
yeah, no. So call, talk about what we're talking about, give your 2 cents, and then be prepared to, just be prepared to answer a question.
But Shaman's,
Alrighty then.
Shaman's 54. I'm 54.
Who's 54?
Shaman.
Well, Shaman, you should have called and told us that. You would have got a movie sent to you. I guess none of them want to give us their address is what the problem is.
Ah, well.
They're like, well, you have to
Don't worry,
mail
we're
it
not going
to
to
me.
send you a pipe bomb. The movie's a bomb, but... By the way, remember
cover's funny.
remember that old man that we were talking about who drove off and his
Yeah, they're
wife
still
saw
looking for
him
him.
drive
Yeah, the
off?
71-year-old.
Well, this is a follow-up to that story.
Okay.
The Macon police are searching Riverside Cemetery for the missing 71-year-old man. Police spokesman, our friend Jamie Gaudet, says city workers discovered man's van in the cemetery early Wednesday. She said officers are now conducting a grid search of the cemetery off Riverside Drive in downtown Macon. She said, and that place has got a lot of areas that he
Cracks
can
and
fall
crevices
into.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. She said officers are now conducting a grid. Oh, I said that. Man went missing after he and his wife left a Macon doctor's office in separate cars yesterday afternoon. The Lane man told police she turned on Riverside Drive onto Lee Road, but her husband continued heading south towards the city. That was about 4:30 Tuesday, according to police release. She hasn't seen or heard from him since, despite repeated attempts to
Probably his
reach him.
girlfriend.
So what we're doing now is calling in some resources and see maybe if he's still inside the cemetery, says Major Robert Gabrowski of the Macon Police. And let's see. Let's see what happens. They find this man in that cemetery. Pretty convenient though.
I got a question. This dawned on me when this was on the news last night, and I saw this story. Okay, and some of you might know better than I do out there in this chat world, or even on the panel. But do family members have to pay for that kind of search? Because you know what I always find very strange is why do people like this get these massive searches done by people from by officers
That
from
somebody has
Twiggs
to pay
County,
for.
you know, the sheriff's department, the MPD, we got the damn Warner Robins police helping out. Okay, you don't ever really see this going on when you have like a missing kid, right? Or a miss. I mean, you see it
Well,
in
the
some
missing
states.
kid, they put out Amber
Yeah,
Alerts.
I mean, you see it in some states, but like, you know, and this is my example. A story that kind of matches this one. A few days ago, there was a black guy, a college student. You hear about this? I think from
Go ahead.
Millersville,
Keep going.
who's been missing. He disappeared. Okay?
Yes.
He's like a 19-year-old black guy,
Yeah.
Jamal something.
I remember.
Okay, my point is this. Why isn't there this massive hunt for that guy? You know, I mean, that's what always makes me wonder and question where the police's allegiances lie, and that's why I'm asking: do people pay for this kind of search? And the reason the other kid didn't get a search party like this is because, of course, no one could afford to pay for it. And if anybody of you know out there about this and know whether they do charge for this kind of thing, but look that other one up for me real quick, Derek. Type in. Missing college student Georgia. I mean, I don't know his name. It's Jamal something, I think.
Jamal, yeah.
No, just put missing college student Jamal. Let's see what happens. Well, I think it was J.A. But there you
Jamal
go.
Keys.
There you go. Okay,
Jamal
now this is my point. Okay, Middle Georgia State University student. He's been missing since when? I think it's
April
been 2 weeks
25th.
now.
Yeah, 2
okay.
weeks.
All right. So I don't hear about a big search party for this guy. But they sure as hell brought out all the guns and the helicopters for this old 71-year-old guy showing up missing. And again, you know, make what you want of it. But if money's not involved, I mean, is this still just another reflection of this city's attitude towards race? You know?
Could be.
Is it really?
Could be.
That's what I want to bring up.
I mean, it smells, it looks, it acts, it quacks like a duck.
Look at the chatters, local people, URAC. Do you know? Do they charge family members for these search parties?
What if they
We
do?
don't know. It's, Seafluke says this elderly man has medical issues. The police and other civil authorities have a role in finding him. And
then he says
Nick,
he's in Cochran, and I think they've searched for him.
yeah.
But did they do it to that extent, Seafluke? Because I've seen the news footage on this guy too, on Jamal, in the past 3 days. And I've not seen any footage of them with all these cops and these sheriffs and deputies and EMA workers looking for this guy.
Well,
you're
no,
right,
But I
because-
sure as hell
because-
saw yesterday
but,
all
yeah.
this footage of helicopters go around the area looking for this 71-year-old, and you got all these other people. And I'm thinking, you know, I can kind of understand the black community's frustration. I can understand it. I really can. You know, I'm not one to play the race card, even though I'm accused of it. But I mean, I can understand their frustration if consistently in the news you hear about one of your brethren, so to speak, being showing up missing, and then there's no search party for him. But then an older white guy shows up missing, and they go crazy looking for the guy. You know, I mean, I can kind of see their discontent. I can understand
because
that.
Judy Lee, I think from WMAZ, she
Right.
interviewed one of the people who were searching for him. And they were like basically members of his church. A church, like Seafluke said, a church from his hometown conducted a search in and around Cochran this weekend.
See, again, it's his church members. That's not the city. That's not the city government having the search.
Well,
I
maybe
can't
that's
speak to
the
that.
way they're searching for him. The police are searching Riverside Cemetery.
Right, but sure, the
But-
police have
but
been searching for this black guy.
They didn't mention there was a helicopter search.
No, there was. I saw it on the news yesterday. I watched the 6 o'clock 13 news at the house last night. And sure enough, it showed footage of all these people out searching. And then one of the things they said was that they have a helicopter in the air circling. And you know they had people from Twiggs County helping in the search. They had Houston County Police helping in the search. And then they had the MPD and the Sheriff Department. And I'm thinking, damn, they're just bringing out all the stops for this guy. And it made me wonder, do you have to pay for that service? And maybe the guy has a lot of money, you know, maybe his wife has a lot of money, and maybe his
Well, they
wife
have two cars.
maybe his wife put up the money for the search. And the reason you don't see it in the black community as much is because they don't have the money in some cases to put up for the search.
Yurak says, my brother-in-law is a volunteer fire department down in Milan, Georgia. I will find out for you.
Right.
Graybeard said, look at the damn Jodi Arias trial. WTF cares about this one white bitch. She's young, not ugly. Well, that depends on who looks at her.
Yeah.
Sellable for HLN and 24/7 advertising. Before that, Graybeard said it's because it's all about ratings.
Well, right, but Graybeard
Seaflux says it may not be about race, but in some cases, or most cases, many cases, it usually is.
Yeah.
But for as far as Graybeard, well, you know, I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, she is attractive. I'm not gonna lie, she is attractive.
That's opinion.
But so is a Bengal tiger. They both look good. I'm not gonna get near neither of them. So I'm just saying.
And a bear mauling a monkey looks pretty fine too.
Wait a minute, Graybeard.
I ain't getting near that bear.
Graybeard was calling. My phone didn't ring, Graybeard.
Turn on the ring.
You have to physically call. We're not gonna take your word for it.
Oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, I slept on it the wrong way.
Well, they said that the church from Cochran, his family have prayed on Sunday, and they're trying to they've been spreading flyers, talking to people as well as speaking to his classmates, and they said they so far have raised enough money to at least have a $3,000 reward. So if anyone within the Cochran area or surrounding counties, please look for this guy, Jamal Keys.
But you see what I'm saying? All the people looking for him are friends and church members. These are private citizens doing this search for this guy.
Right.
All right. The 71-year-old white guy, he's got not only family members looking for him, but he's got the whole damn city government looking for him. You know, so that's why I was questioning that. I was wondering if you have to pay some money to get that service.
Certainly hope not.
Well,
which is pretty damn. Yeah, that's pretty damn.
No, I think they
tasteless
pay
and
for it.
inhumane.
I think they pay for it if the search, if the story is untrue. I remember that happened with the girl who said my baby's missing and blah blah blah. It may have happened with that girl who killed her daughter and got away with
Casey
it.
Anthony?
Yeah, and then they have to foot the bill, I believe, if it was a false call.
Well, yeah, because that's illegal. I mean, that's a crime.
And it was also with
But
that woman who
this
was
isn't
going to
a
get
false-
married.
This isn't a false call. I mean, this guy's disappeared.
I know.
And so has
So
the
I
black
don't think they
kids.
will pay for it. I think they only pay for it if they
Well, then I
fake the story.
Then it makes me ask this question again. Why
I think
the hell?
runaway
Why the
bride
hell?
got in trouble.
Well, that's
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's the
no, but guys, you're bringing up something we're not talking about. We're
no,
talking about
it's a point we are talking
No,
about.
we're not. We're talking about
the
two
point is
people
whether
missing
they have
because
to
it's
pay
not
for
fake.
it.
I know,
She
but
paid for it.
I know, but you guys are talking about a liar who reported a false crime.
That's what I'm
This is not
talking
a
about.
false
That's
crime,
the
Elvin. I
the
know.
only reason that I can think of, or
We're
anybody
off.
can think of.
We're off. Ed,
And
we froze. It stopped.
You know how I can do it?
You can't hit a button to start it back, or does it
No.
start on its own?
It go come
Oh,
back
okay.
on its own.
Well, so we just okay.
Just hold then. Just keep talking once it comes back on.
It reloads itself.
Well, that was the first time that happened in a
There it
couple of
goes.
days.
all right, here we go.
Okay, so we're talking about the technical difficulty. We have no control. So
Yeah,
other than to say-
the
I think that's fine.
synergy between what we're discussing works perfectly. You're asking whether they're responsible to pay for all of this, search party.
No, I'm not asking that.
No. Yes, you are.
No,
You're saying
Irvin,
you just asked year out.
No.
Do you
let
know whether
Irvin
they have to
finish
pay
your-
for it or
no,
what?
No. What I'm asking is just give me a yes or no answer in this case. I know they have to pay for it if you falsely
Right.
say it.
I think that's
We're
the
not
only
talking
time
about
they
it
pay
falsely.
for it.
Well, then that brings my next point up, which is that's pretty fucked up if you don't have to pay for it in these two cases where it's legitimate, and yet they're giving it to the 71-year-old white guy, and they're not giving it to the 19-year-old black guy. I think
And
that's
that
something
makes sense.
screwy.
Mm-hmm.
That's very screwy. That's why I asked, are they paying for it? I understand completely that not only do they have to pay for it in the case of like Casey Anthony, they might do jail time over it because that's a crime. You can't say, oh, someone falsely ran away or disappeared, and then the whole time you knew they didn't. You got them murdered and buried in your backyard. Of course, I mean that's a crime to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is a case where these are not crimes. I mean, as far as the crime's not that they're missing. There might be a crime involved as far as something happened to them both.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? I just think it's kind of screwed up if that's what's going on.
Okay, Unga Bunga says police issued a Maddie's call for the man missing in Macon. Maddie's call is a law enforcement initiated alert system to locate missing elderly or otherwise disabled persons. It was created by an act of the Georgia State Legislature. Thank you, Unga Bunga.
And so Unga Bunga. Okay, go ahead.
There is no Jamal call for the missing black man.
No. The Bean says the white guy is more local and is the newest of the news. They're probably both equally being sought. Well, sort of.
Maybe so. I never saw it.
There's no follow-up.
And I've never saw any footage about the black guy having everybody coming out of the woodworks looking for him.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I haven't been on the news sites and seen every bit of footage on Jamal, but I've seen updates on it for at least the past 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 days. And none of the footage have I seen concerning Jamal shows any kind of search party going out. But the footage I saw last night on this 71-year-old man, it shows everybody and their brother out there looking for him.
Yeah, I mean,
they're on ATVs looking for him. They're in helicopters looking for him. They're in cars looking for him. You know, they're on foot looking for him. So I was just, it was a curiosity I had. It made for a very interesting, I thought, topic of conversation because, and I'm glad Irvin brought up the follow-up on the 71-year-old man because it reminded me of bringing that up. You know, and
well,
it's screwed up if that's the case. If they're not paying, I mean, I already think they shouldn't have to pay for the service. I think our tax dollars should already be included in that sort of process of if somebody shows missing, they should go all search for them, or a lot of them should search for them. I think that should already be in the tax dollars. I don't think you should have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether these people are paying extra for it or not. So.
Well, moving on with local news, we got our wonderful GA David Cook. Macon District Attorney says he will seek the death penalty against Tracy Jones, one of the 4 accused of killing Gail Spencer. I'd like to see who Tracy Jones is, whether he's the black guy of that group.
No. Tracy Jones is a white girl.
Oh, it's a white girl?
I saw this news story yesterday.
Okay, David Cook made the announcement at the news conference Wednesday afternoon. He also said of Jones' co-defendant, Michael Brett Kelly,
white guy.
The white guy will plead guilty in the case Monday.
These are all white people.
And receive life without parole.
They look like crackheads.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I saw this footage on the news last night as well. This is the case, Irvin and Derek, where those 3 people were going to try to embezzle money from the job they worked in.
Right.
And then the Gail Spencer lady was going to tell on them.
Now, what was the connection to that lady and somebody high in government here?
It was one of our local officials.
Oh, it was the guy that brought in consolidation.
Calder Pinkston.
Pinkston.
It was called. They all worked for Calder Pinkston.
Yeah,
I believe in his law office.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
Anyway,
they look kind of, they look kind of shady.
Yeah, I don't know why they would hide.
To profile and judge a book by its cover, these people look kind of shady.
That was the book was the good, the bad, and the ugly. He said Kelly will testify. Kelly himself will testify against the 3 co-defendants.
Because he's getting
That's
life.
why, because he's getting
He's
life.
not going to get the death penalty because he's going to blow the whistle.
He's going to blow the whistle. Cook said
he's a local lawyer.
Winker's personal attorney.
Well, he's a local lawyer too.
Yeah. Cook said the murderer Spencer, legal secretary, qualifies for the death penalty on several grounds, including involving torture and depravity of mind. Jones, who worked for the same law firm as Spencer, and 3 others were allegedly stealing money from the law firm. Also charged are Keith Anthony Dozier and Courtney Kelly. The 4 accused of plotting to kill the 58-year-old Spencer in a home in October. All 4 are indicted in December on 5 counts that including malice, murder, and theft.
Wow.
Malice, murder, and theft.
Fry him is all I gotta say. Fry him.
Gotta go.
Fry him or inject him.
Unbelievable.
Or
As
use
the-
it.
Oh,
Nice-
look at that. We
nice-
got another local sheriff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw this news story yesterday.
Mhm.
Go with it.
Especially which goes right now. I had a breaking news about a flood warning that's issued for Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski, Telfair, and Wilcox counties.
Get your boats ready.
Yep, definitely. And speaking of Wilcox, a former Wilcox sheriff is sentenced to prison. Former sheriff of Wilcox County, Stacy Bloodworth, was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison yesterday for assaulting a jail inmate and conspiring to cover it up. He pleaded guilty in October to assault and conspiracy charges. 4 other men were also sentenced in the case. The assaults happened in the Wilcox County Jail in July of 2009. According to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Bloodsworth ordered the 3 inmates out of their cells because he was angry with them, hit all 3, then watched as others also hit and kicked them. One inmate's jaw was broken, and Bloodsworth used a wrench to try to put it back in place.
Oh, hell.
Oh, the man's jaw was later wired shut at a local hospital. The other 2 inmates were also injured.
Hell.
Bloodsworth and the other men reportedly made up a false story about the beatings and lied to an FBI agent about it, the release says. Also sentenced Austin Bloodsworth, the former sheriff's son, with 18 months in prison, and former jail inmate trustee Willie James Carruthers for 18 months. Former South Central Georgia Drug Task Force agent Timothy King Jr. has 6 months in prison, and former jailer Casey Owens has been given probation. Stacy Bloodsworth resigned as sheriff in February 2012 after being indicted by a federal grand jury.
There you go. See, obvious case of again, police brutality, police behaving badly,
Excessive force, yeah.
and so it's out there, so it's not so far fetched for us to be thinking what we think about our own Macon Police
Yeah.
Department.
Well, and there's
This
a
is
lot of
sheriff,
stories
but
coming
still.
out right now. Like I saw a few videos where, for example, those 3 girls that were kidnapped.
Dead
for 10 years.
giveaway.
Yeah,
It was a dead giveaway?
We'll update that story, but
I wanna
in
find
the
that song.
news, the talking heads, as I call them, and many call them, they were all saying the same thing. They said it on CNN, they said it on ABC, they said it on CNBC, whatever. They were all saying the same thing. The police department did a horrible job in dropping the ball in that case. The fact that they would go up to the door twice in 10 years when people were telling them and calling. Now, the police are not admitting that they got called. They're saying, oh, we only got 2 calls in all this time. I think that's bullcrap because even 1 call should have at least given them enough fuel to continue and even follow up. Did they ever find the girls? What's going on? And they should have put on the same kind of search as they're doing that
Amber Alert,
73-year-old.
Right.
But they didn't do that. And those 3 girls were only 3 miles away.
Right.
Only 3 miles away from where they lived.
Right.
And everybody in that neighborhood knew that that guy was kind of a weirdo. And yet nobody did anything about it. I mean, come on. Once again, the police dropping the ball
Yeah.
on what could have been a breakthrough 9 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Seafloop's got something for us, so
yes.
we appreciate this.
Yes, from CBS, various law enforcement agencies are working together in search for Jamal Keys, including the campus police now, the Bleckley County Sheriff's Office, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is probably good. On the button it says
so
it's
there
like
we go.
Yeah, it's
All
like-
right, there's
it's
our
like-
follow-up.
It's like an Amber Alert. If he says,
Well, yeah,
but a
we're
missing,
aware of that,
but a
yeah.
missing college kid, unless they're a white girl,
But
will
this is
probably
on
get
Gabunga. You have to
not
make
get
that
any.
clear.
What under Gabunga ad says,
Right.
it's like Amber Alert. But a missing college kid, unless they're a white girl, probably would not get as much coverage, any bit of coverage.
Right.
Maybe
And
not.
even national coverage.
But Seafloop, thank you for fighting that for us. So they did do a search somewhat also for Keys, or are doing a search.
Wow.
Because I just never saw anything on the news about that with Keys. And I saw it yesterday with the David Mann.
Well, at least
I
I'm glad
saw
to
it-
know.
Actually, I saw it yesterday. I think Judy Lee from WMAZ talked about it. I think it was during the afternoon. It was during the afternoon news, I think, where they were talking, where they actually interviewed some of his college buddies, college friends, and church members.
They were all
and
suspects.
Yeah,
Everybody's a suspect.
yeah.
Even his own parents could be suspect. The police, once they start going after somebody, they usually are pretty thorough. But initially, it's always, like in this case with the 3 women,
Uh-huh.
pretty damn slow.
Yeah.
Graybeard says, in the case of the old man, it's an ember alert. The fire's out. The ember is smoking.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
all I can say is if he's found in the cemetery, God willing he's alive, but if he's not, it's pretty convenient.
Well, again, we talked about him yesterday, and we said a few things might have been the case. Maybe he heard something from the doctor that just was not pleasing to him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "To hell with this. I'm ready to end my life. I have something that I don't want to deal with."
Well, they're not
maybe
even
he's
really
just
describing that
dementia.
either.
He has dementia or Alzheimer's, and he just shouldn't have been driving.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well,
but come on, people, you have to somewhat know what you're doing, right?
what do you mean?
Well, even if you do have dementia and Alzheimer's, and you're driving somewhere, and you do say park at the cemetery, you have to eventually realize where you are. Correct? I mean, I don't have Alzheimer's and dementia, so I don't know firsthand. But I would think by looking around, scoping your surroundings, you would say, look, there's a bunch of gravestones everywhere. I'm obviously not at home. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm at a cemetery, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just so lost and so discombobulated that he couldn't get out of there, drive out of there.
Well, I
and
just
go
hope
back
to
home.
God they find him alive. I mean,
I hope so, too.
nobody wants to see.
Of course, you want to have all these people found alive.
I
You
know.
want to find Jamal alive as well. You
Yeah.
know? You want to find, as many people as possible alive in these cases. Like, the 3 girls that were kidnapped.
Anyway,
But you're right. Back to that topic, Irvin. You're right. How they dropped the ball on those 3 girls is kind of beyond me, also.
yeah, and
Okay.
every single news organization that I'm looking at, it sounded like us in Macon, Georgia. They were hitting on the police, saying the police dropped the ball, and because they would show up, bang on the door, and nobody was ever home. Of course, he was home. He was hiding, or maybe he wasn't home.
Right.
Because when he used to leave them locked in the basement. Well, they were always in the basement. And so the fact that there were 2 calls even, that something strange was going on in that house, why didn't they send a detective to kind of case out the house, wait for the guy to show up? What would it have taken, a day, 2 days, of just really, really investigating? In other words, they went there, knocked on the door, nobody answered, and they walked away like stupid asses, instead of saying, you know what, this is the 2nd call we got in this house. Let's come back tomorrow, even though nobody calls, and let's go check this out. And if not, then let's do it for a week. Investigate the guy. But they didn't do any of that. And those poor girls for 10 years were stuck being raped, brutally beaten, having miscarriages, all this craziness that went on. And yet, right under their noses this happened. 3 miles away from where the girls used to live. I mean, good talk about getting lost in the sauce. This
Right.
is ridiculous.
Right.
That they didn't follow
Well,
up,
I
to
think-
me, is ridiculous.
I think what helped these guys get away with this for as long as they did was that there were more than one of them.
Yeah.
It
Well,
would've
they
been
got
it
let
would've
2
been
of
a-
them go.
It would have been a lot hard. No, I'm talking about the 3 guys that did it, the brothers.
No,
If
they're
it-
saying 2 guys were let go, that they have nothing to do with it.
But do you believe that?
I'm having a hard time, but this
Me
is
too.
the detective in charge of the case who bungled it already, so
I'm
you
having
never
a
know.
hard time believing it too, because I find it very difficult for one guy to be able to keep his finger on 3 women for 10 years.
Yeah, and
without
that his
them
2 brothers didn't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point, is I think there was some help, there was some co-conspirators in this, because think about it. Everybody eventually has to go to sleep. You can't keep yourself awake. So what had to have been done is, while 2 of them slept, one had to keep watch.
Right.
And they had to rotate this every night for 10
For a
years.
decade, yeah.
There is no way that one guy was keeping those 3 women captive and they never got
They
out.
were locked in the basement. And so, you know, the scenario right now is the brothers didn't know.
I don't buy that.
And because they were in the basement.
I don't buy that.
But I don't buy that either.
I mean, there had to be a group effort on this.
Yeah.
In order to keep those women away from the public.
More than those
for
3
10
guys?
years.
Okay.
You had to have a group of people doing this.
I mean, what kind of a basement did this guy have? It was in a freaking sinkhole. I mean, nobody could hear them.
Well, I mean, think of all your possibilities. And of course, I'm not there, and I don't know how the house looks.
And
But
Hey,
let's
you know
think.
what?
Let's think.
One of them was saying, this right here, one of them said she got pregnant 5 times while she was there.
she got one pregnant.
Pregnant 5
Like
times.
5 kids.
So are the kids all around that house too, or did she just have abortions, or
No,
not abortions, but miscarriages?
Miscarriages.
I don't know the whole story, but I mean, that's.
I mean,
Well, I
Where
know
are the kids?
Amanda had one of them. She did have
Okay,
one
now,
child.
so how did that happen? Did she have the kid at a hospital, or did she have it at the house?
Probably at the house.
I mean, that's my point. If she got out to the public in any fashion in 10 years, she didn't let people know what was going on? That's kind
Yeah,
of,
it's
I know
all-
it's the Stockholm syndrome, but still, I mean, it's all kind of strange to me.
It is.
I mean, back to what I was saying. If it's one guy watching them, right, who's got them captured, okay?
Right.
These girls in this basement have to think. They have to get together. They have to brainstorm and think. You know, okay, at a certain time of night, this guy is probably up there asleep, right?
Right.
He's got to be asleep at some point. So why at that time are they not working their ass off trying to get out of there?
Well, Mr. Dumpster.
Whether pulling the door off of the basement, you know,
Well,
taking
Mr.
the
Dumpster
hinges
Baby
off.
says the walls in the basement were made of cement. So basically, I guess it may be because since it was made of cement, though, you probably probably couldn't hear their pleads or screams or something because it just absorbed it.
Okay. I know you're. One of 3 women held captive in Cleveland home said she was pregnant at least 5 times, but was starved and punched until she eventually miscarried, according to an initial incident report obtained by CNN.
That's horrible, man.
Jeez Louise.
That is horrible.
I mean, could you imagine? I don't even want to think about it.
Good morning, Saibuki.
Good morning, Saibuki.
We're all over the place. We've already
Yeah.
done like 6 news stories in the first hour. It was break time. Shit, it's 9:09.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going on 9:09 right now. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House with Irv, Ant, DB, and Ed. It's 57 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia. It's sunny right now with a high of 85 and a low of 61 degrees. We'll be right back.
The family of a man killed by a San Diego police officer is blasting the district attorney's findings that the shooting was justified.
10 News reporter Allison Ash shows us why the man's widow feels that the family was lied to.
This was the scene last summer after this man, 31-year-old Victor Ortega, was shot and killed by a San Diego police officer. The police department called it self-defense. Ortega's wife thinks differently and says District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis rubber-stamped their findings.
Although I think she treated it as if Victor doesn't matter to her, or me, or my family.
Shakina Ortega claims Dumanis promised an independent investigation and didn't deliver it.
And she told my mom that she was going to treat this as if this was her own son. Do you think she did? No.
Police say Officer Jonathan McCarthy chased Ortega, who ran all the way through this apartment complex from his home on the other side. When they met near here, that's when things got ugly. The two met in this breezeway where McCarthy claims he was trying to get Victor under control, and that during a struggle, Ortega reached for his gun. Fearing for his life, McCarthy fired twice, killing the father of two. Ortega's attorney says the district attorney didn't interview a single witness.
And so this investigation that the DA's office has done in order to reach its finding not to charge Officer McCarthy is based exclusively on the San Diego Police Department's own investigation.
The Ortega family has already filed a federal lawsuit claiming Victor Ortega's civil rights were violated on several levels.
We're going to fight till we get justice. It doesn't end with Bonnie Dumanis.
In Mira Mesa, Allison Ash, 10 News.
After our story aired at 5, we received this statement from the District Attorney's Communication Director. District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis met with the Ortega family on 2 occasions and explained that the purpose of the District Attorney's review is to provide an independent review of all shootings and other use of deadly force, fatal and non-fatal, to assure the public that peace officers in San Diego County are performing their duties in a legally justified manner. That's what we conducted in this case, just as we do in every officer-involved shooting.
Yo, Scrap, I'm about to bounce. Oh my God! Oh my God! Come on, I am. Come on! Yo, real talk. And they maced him. He was at the bus.
This jellyfish may not sting you, but it could one day be used in military sting operations. Meet Zyro, the 5'7", 170-pound robotic jellyfish.
It's a big guy, but once it's in water, it's almost neutrally buoyant, so it doesn't float, doesn't sink, it just kind of stays there.
The lifelike autonomous robot was created by a team of research and engineering students at Virginia Tech. It's part of a $5 million project funded by the U.S. Navy.
The idea is to use these jellyfish-inspired vehicles for underwater surveillance of ocean waters.
It's got 8 arms and a flexible silicone covering to mimic the way a jellyfish swims.
So this is actually the mind of our robotic jellyfish. We house all our sensory components in here and the battery housing as well.
This jellyfish prototype can swim for about 4 hours using a battery, but they're looking at other energy sources to make it last longer.
In the future, we're trying to be able to leave this robot in the ocean for weeks and months at a time.
These robots could be used for military surveillance and to clean up after oil spills or monitor schools of fish.
They might not be the fastest swimmers, but they're definitely known to be very efficient swimmers. Using multiples of them, you can cover even more ground and perhaps achieve missions that are even more complicated.
Cool! I like the robotic jellyfish.
I wouldn't date a guy who had a grooming problem, so no.
Who cares, Kate Upton?
The second group. And we are back.
I wouldn't date that bear that mauled that monkey. He's too hairy.
Yeah, thanks for the commercial. It was a Kate Upton. Yeah, the Sports Illustrated models in that Gillette commercial.
Go be dumb and blonde, Kate Upton. That's all you do.
Yeah, I know. I kind of blacked out for a while. I was just like, I wasn't mad with body hair. And then all of a sudden she started jiggling and laughing. I just, lost my track of.
Well, she just.
Well, Donnie Curry says, laugh all you want. Donnie Curry says, laugh all you want as long as her boobies bounce.
Yeah, that's true.
Dumpster Baby says, I wouldn't groom my balls with that razor either.
No, the boobies nouncing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to chatters here. We are back at 9:15. It is the Morning Roast with Derek Barrett, Urban Martinez, Macon Karaoke, Ed Einbeiner, and Anthony Harris.
Yes.
Sit here.
It's 57 degrees right outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 85 and a low of 61. Want to say hello if he's still there. Greek Fire. Who came by. He was talking about something, I guess, about dementia.
He says, once you lose your mind,
it tells you where you are, not the other way around. Mr. Dumpster Baby says, I wonder if old ex-cops with dementia ever dress up as cops and go out and hose down some black guys or something.
But Greek fire. Okay, let's say that's true because again, I already prefaced this with I know nothing about
Well,
this.
you're talking to Ann now. He's not even on.
He's not here?
No.
Well, why the hell did you suggest something and leave? Well, let's talk about it anyway. Maybe somebody else here will know what they're talking about and we'll jump in place of Greek fire. But okay, let's say that's true. He says if you believe you're in an opera when you're in the middle low, you're at the opera. Okay, but how does he then realize that he's not at his house? Let's say he's standing at a cemetery. And then he eventually thinks, you know, I got to go, let's say, to the refrigerator and get something to eat. Or I've got to go sit on my couch and watch TV. So he's at the cemetery with dementia. What does he do in that sense? Where does he walk within the cemetery to go, hey, I think I'm at my house? You know? You get what I'm saying? Because that's the scenario he's bringing up.
Maybe he's thinking, I'm going to the cemetery because... He was saying, the news that he was told, I'm just, you know, speculating here, of course. The news that, according to us, we all agree was probably bad news. He just came out of the hospital. The word death came to his mind. Cemetery.
Right.
All those connections. Remember, they're almost like a radio. They can't, when the mind becomes like that radio with the static that it doesn't really...
Right.
You know, you can't really get the station, so to speak.
Right.
And so he may have thought death, cemetery, and those words maybe have pushed him there. I'm just thinking.
Okay, Saibuki. Saibuki knows something here. He goes, I deal with dementia every day and have done for 6 years.
You talking about yourself or another family member? Okay.
Okay, it depends how bad dementia is. Some people never come back to reality.
Yeah.
See, again, and I don't know anything about this. I don't have any relatives with dementia. I don't have any relatives, knock on wood, with Alzheimer's.
Well, my mother died of diabetic dementia. It's terrible. I think dementia affects different people in different ways. It isn't easy to put a finger on how it would affect you.
Thanks, Dumps the baby. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure. I kind of think, and until we hear different about what his medical condition was or might have been, I think it's more so what Irvin just said.
Yeah.
I think this guy found out he had something he couldn't live with, you know, or just something about his life he didn't like anymore. He's ready to just basically cash in the chips. And I think, you know, maybe that's why he went to the cemetery, like Irvin said.
Yeah.
And maybe he did say what one of the chatters earlier said. Maybe he walked right into the Ocmulgee River there, which is high up now. It's high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a high level. And maybe he walked right into the river and just basically drowned himself.
Guy, right?
Yeah, the old guy.
That would be sad.
I mean, maybe that's what happened. Maybe they'll find his body
73 years of life. He was 73.
71.
You
71?
I think 71.
71 years. He's younger than my mom. My mom died at 77 from diabetic dementia, which, you know, when you have both diabetes and dementia and a heart condition all together, I mean, she was like, he was this woman that raised 11 kids, basically.
Right.
And 9 of us and 2 cousins. And now becomes this little bird. I mean, she was just like completely skeletal and lost all her weight and in bed and not recognizing anybody. But it kept going worse and worse and worse every year. Every year I would go there. She would remember me, but she thought my ex-wife was my sister Gail.
Mm-hmm.
And then she couldn't hold conversation. She would just sit there and kind of stare for a while. And it's just really...
dementia's bad.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it really is. The person is alive, but their mind is gone.
Yeah. Especially when you had diabetes, too. That's a double whammy. Because I mean, I was... You know, that's the reason why I'm doing the P90X and Insanity exercises also, and also walking, because the one way, you know, if you can control your weight, you'd be able to get rid of the symptoms, or at least don't have to take the medication.
Yeah. And what starts to happen is it brings up a side of a human being, the person affected by this, that you're almost wishing they would die, because dementia could take years and years.
Oh, yeah.
Like Ronald Reagan, when he got his dementia, he was out like a light bulb.
Well, yeah,
I mean, he got it, and all of a sudden he's
Did
gone.
he have dementia or Alzheimer's or both?
Well, it's
I
the
thought he
same.
had
It's
Alzheimer's.
kind of the same thing.
Is it? I didn't think it was.
They said he may have had Alzheimer's back near the end of his second term.
It's a different terminology. If I'm incorrect, please tell me what the fine line is. We got dementia.
I thought it was two different things. But
Well,
I might be wrong.
Dementia and it may be two different things, but what's the difference? Really, they both lose their capacity to remember and think and so on.
Yeah.
And my mother took 10 years to die. So for 10 years, she was in a nursing home. And when I would go and visit her, her sister was right next to her. So I had both my mother and my aunt laying in the same room. And Edward Mampa's wife, my sister-in-law Janet, was actually their caretaker in that hospital on Staten Island.
Right.
And so she got to see some things there herself and my mother was so mean to her when she first got together with Edward. And here it was that she was now taking care of my mother.
Wow.
So many years later, but it was pretty hard. And diabetes is a terrible condition. I mean, just bad. It runs in the family. I don't have it, but it runs in the family. I got some other shit that
you got to deal with.
That I have to deal with, but diabetes is not one of them.
Y'all want to move into sports real quick?
Well, let me just make sure that Donnie Curry gets some attention here. He says, my dad would think my niece was her mother. He would call me IJM his brother. I am the only person my grandmother, this is Saibuki, recognized out of the entire family, and that is not guaranteed. Dumpster baby, didn't Reagan want to send Rambo to a hostage crisis?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a clue. He was a little loopy.
Donnie Curry says, yes, it is. It does. It is. It skips a generation, so you're lucky.
Yeah, amen. Thank you for letting me know that, Donnie.
And Sabuki says, dementia and Alzheimer's are two different things.
That's what I thought.
The first, your brain makes things up, and the second, it forgets things. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were two different things.
Okay, so dementia is the one that makes your brain
think of something else, and then Alzheimer's just basically just takes your memory.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, then my mother had both because her memory was gone by the time she died.
I like how Urban says gone. Memory was gone.
Gamer Girl, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to stop by and let you know that I didn't forget you guys. I'm going through a rough time right now. Mike has lost his job, so I'm kind of not feeling stuff right now.
Sorry to hear about that, Mike.
Sorry to hear about that, girl. Hope you find a job. I mean, it's
hard out there.
It's definitely hard. I've been out of work of a full-time job for 2.5 years this month.
She said, I love you guys, but I'll be popping in and out. Okay, dear. Okay. Just make sure if you need a laugh, come back.
We don't mind you popping in and out. Just don't poop in and out.
And I'm sure that Mike is talented. He'll find another job. There are things out there that I'm sure they're available to him. I hope.
Well,
Dumpster Baby says, any luck with your call yesterday, Derek?
Oh, yeah, it was a call from GPB. I guess they will contact me to let me know if whether I got the job or it's been filled for something else, somebody else. But
or they won't call you.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't
like
call.
They usually do. They never call back.
Yeah,
the whole don't call us, we'll call you.
Well, Gluck, buddy.
Thank
he
you.
says Gluck.
Thank you.
Dumpster Baby.
Thank you, Dumpster.
Now, I'm surprised Derek hasn't mentioned it yet, and since Gamer Girls showed up, let's go ahead and mention it while Gamer Girls here popping in. I saw something on the news feed this morning about Jerry Lawler's returning. Did you see this?
No,
I didn't get it.
Go to it. My buddy here, I got to give him some wrestling news. They said after having that heart attack, Jerry Lawler will be returning to the ring.
Wow, and die of a heart attack there.
Well, let's see what the story says.
Okay. Wow, okay.
There
I guess you're right. Okay.
I saw it this morning.
Jerry Lawler returning to the ring 8 months after a heart attack.
Bam! The king!
Long live Jerry the King Lawler. On May 25th, the 63-year-old wrestling icon and WWE Hall of Famer commentator will wrestle in his first match since suffering a near-fatal heart attack last September. Lawler will team up with 72-year-old WWE Hall of Famer Dory Funk Jr. in a tag team match for the Bang Wrestling promotion. Yes, Dory Funk Jr. is 72 and is still wrestling. Wow. It's been
72 years old. What an old coot.
He's got the physical ability to do it.
It's been
He
quite.
reminds me of Caleb.
Yeah, it's been quite the recovery for Lawler, who collapsed on air during a live broadcast of WWE Monday Night Raw in Montreal, shortly after wrestling a tag team match with Randy Orton. Fortunately for Lawler, Dr. Michael J. Sampson, the WWE ringside doctor, was sitting feet away from the announcer's table and sprung into action using CPR, which ultimately saved his life.
Wow.
2 months after that scary incident, Lawler was back at WWE announcer's table as his heart attack was mocked and reenacted as part of a storyline segment with wrestler CM Punk. Getting back in the ring has been on Lawler's mind since his heart attack. The man even cut back on eating fried chicken 5 times a week in order to get cleared by his doctors.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yes, Lawler told WMC TV in February that his ultimate goal was eventually to wrestle once again.
All right, there you go. DB with the wrestling.
The wrestling news.
Entertainment wrestling.
Entertainment, yeah. The fake,
not real
sports.
wrestling. There's a few other sports news pieces too, which I saw on the news feed, but I did not get a chance to write down.
Oh, okay.
There was some pointless shit about somebody in sports like using some finger gesture towards the fans or something. Did you see that story?
He pointed to God.
Is that what he did? Is that what the big?
Won and he pointed
So
to
that's
God.
the uproar.
The whole team got it.
And they got. So let's talk about that because that brings up.
I sent that to him last week.
Okay, well I
I'm
saw.
sorry, I was reading chat as I missed it. What?
Well, let's go to it. Click to it. Go to the Yahoo. Are you on Yahoo?
Yes.
Go to the news feed. This. Oh no, that's not one. That's a different one. Flipping them off. Anyway, I guess type in player points to God. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what the hell he was doing. I just knew there was a gesture done that they're trying to give him a hard time over. Which that would figure it would be something with religion because people are always going to have a beef with religion.
You know what? I don't care. I mean, it's like if you're gay, it's fine. You know, you want to practice religion, that's fine. But don't preach it to me.
No, that wasn't it.
So what happened? Just give me the gist of the
He
story.
won. He won. He pointed to God. The team got disqualified.
Yeah. They won. He gave props to God, and the team got disqualified or something.
Get out of here.
I mean, there's
right
a bunch of them.
right here. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not. This is.
Well, I mean, that may tell you the story. It may give you the
that's
background.
That's an old case story. This was a recent one. This is a December 2010.
So they're not allowed to point to God anymore?
Well, I mean, while we're doing this other story and Urban's doing the chatters, go to the Yahoo front page. Do you go to the Yahoo page? Go to the very front one, not that one, the very front one.
Okay.
There you go, that one. This is the easiest way to find it. Now start scrolling all the way through here. This is where I saw it. Go to the next one. Go ahead and do some chatters there, Urban, so we don't have dead
All
air.
right, well, Donnie Curry says Josh came home yesterday for 5 minutes and left saying he will be back tonight, never came back.
That's where I got that one.
Shocker, again, high as hell on meth.
Keep going.
Okay, well, that's not the same as dementia, is it?
I don't think so.
Anyway, Gamer Girl is telling Yirak that he was a wrestler, then became an announcer.
Jerry Lawler, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler. She responds to Donnie, I'm sorry to hear that, Wildcat, so at least he is
There's
alive.
the rap star's funny gesture. That's another one I wanted to talk about.
At least he's alive, but I feel for you. Donnie Curry, yeah. So feel better, Mike. You'll get another one soon. I guess he's talking to Gamer Girl. Ellen Macon says, sorry to hear that. Also, he also said sorry to me earlier about my mom, which is cool.
Donnie said his son ran away.
That is the only good thing of him coming home, and it was not pretty. I will be doing a show about it when I get up. My son ran away, Irving. When? Is this an old story, Donnie? Was this recent?
That's the prison break one I just did.
And how old is he? That's a good question.
Maybe it's all gone or something.
Almost 3 weeks ago. 16. Oh my God. Do you guys have a search alert?
Well, that's what I was about to say, Donnie. Did you guys have a full search with the police and the sheriffs and all these other counties law enforcement?
I mean, he's young, 16 years old.
Did he answer yet? Any search?
I'll call.
Oh, God.
Donnie, you're calling for the video too. First caller.
I will, Gray. It's on my computer. Okay, look, Donnie. Did you say I'll call after 3 weeks?
What the hell?
I'm sorry. I'm just asking. He's saying I'll call.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Donnie Curry, movie man who loves movies.
Hi, Donnie.
You're also going to get a movie.
Is it?
Calling after 3 weeks. He's been gone for 3 weeks. And, basically the story in a nutshell, for some reason he thinks he's got it miserable here, but he's the only boy out of the 3 boys that has had more privileges than anything else. He's gotten into drugs. And, for all those doubting Thomases that wondered if he was doing meth, we know now for a fact he was. And he was high on meth, not pot. And he's been gone, and he progressed from being high on weed to being high on meth. And, he went from being, this kid has an IQ of 135, but where it is now, I have no idea, because he went from being straight A's, good school attendance, to pissing his education away and running away from home, and then talking shit to his mother, who's literally gotten herself sick to death. She sat in her chair, got up, and wasn't able to walk 2 feet without falling face first. And he calls her a bitch for posting have you seen this kid? And Anthony, to your question about the runaway report, the second day I put the report in. You know what the cops told me?
What?
It's a formality because they will not go waste their time to go try to hunt the kid down. If they see him, they will pick him up.
See, and I don't get that. What makes some people worthy of being looked for by a search party and others not?
That's the thing. They don't look for runaways here.
So they don't have Maddie call or Amber?
Well, Maddie's for old people.
It is a status offense, not a criminal offense.
Well, I mean, neither is the 71-year-old man who's missing. That's not a criminal offense either. You know what I mean?
But it's a different state, because it sure the hell ain't Nevada, because they could care less about the elderly as well.
Okay, well, let me ask you some of this stuff, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine, but since you brought it up and you're the one that called about it, if you don't mind, Don, I'm going to ask you a couple of personal questions. What do you blame his fall into the abyss when it came to his drug use? When was the first signs of it?
Let's see. I put the sole blame on his poor decision making and his peer pressure.
When did it happen? What age?
16.
I thought he's 16 now.
He is 16.
Okay, so what I said is, what age did he start doing the drugs?
Right after he turned 16.
This is
almost 17.
Wow, so this is a recent discovery.
This is only mid-September.
And is this the same kid that you said on this show before it was on Ritalin and all that stuff?
No, he's never been on medication.
Okay, so he's never had any sort of medication for ADD or ADHD or anything.
No, he's never had Ritalin. He's been on Depakote, but that's more of a dietary than anything else.
And why was he on that, if you don't mind me asking?
Because of, what was it? Because of his bipolar.
Wait. The medicine's dietary, but it's because
to get him off medication.
But what? I thought you said the medicine's dietary.
I said it. Ritalin is known for being a dietary.
No, I misunderstand you, Donnie. I thought you said your son was on a dietary medication, and that was the only thing he was on.
It is Depakote is known for being a dietary.
Oh, okay.
But it's not solely a dietary.
Okay, but it's used for bipolar.
Correct.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm sorry to hear that. All I can say is good luck with it. I mean,
well, yeah.
Again, you're right. There is something about peer pressure.
And ultimately, guys, it's not me that I'm concerned about. It's my wife, man. I mean, she's busting her ass with everything that's going on with me with my strokes, and her having to be the only one working right now. Everything is piling on like you wouldn't believe. I had to talk her off the ledge yesterday, pretty much. I mean, she didn't have anything in her hand or anything, but you know, the point is that she was at the point of walking, figuratively speaking, walking on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
And all because my son thinks that his self-satisfaction and self-loathing is more important than thinking of his mother. I could give a shit what he calls me or what he does to me, but you know, you don't do that to the person that gave you life. I don't give a fuck how happy you think, how grateful you think you are to your friends for giving you the drugs. You don't talk to your mother like that.
Right. I mean, it's a sad situation. I guess in some cases there are no answers. I mean, people. I hope that I don't have to deal with that situation when my kids reach that age.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna try my damnedest to make sure they don't. But you're right. In the end, once they get to a certain age, you really can't completely control them, and it's sad to say. You just hope that they make right decisions.
Well, and also, Dumpster Baby is saying.
I don't know your kids, Anthony, but I do. If those were your kids that came on the show that split second, they're still young, man.
Well, I know they are. I mean, yeah, they're 9 and 6. I know they're young, and I just, like I say, I just hope that they don't get into those things. You know, I'm gonna try my damnedest to keep them away from it. I'm gonna try my damnedest to hopefully steer him in the right direction. But you're right. Even though your son's not quite 18 yet, I mean, he's a couple of years from 18, and once they reach 18 and beyond, they're basically on their own. And no matter how much it frustrates their parents, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do, and you have to just deal with it. And it's a sad situation.
All right, let's go to the chat. It's Donnie. Stay on.
Okay.
Seaflux says drugs and adolescents. Hold on. This shit just moved. Sorry, Donnie. Hold on 1 second. It says drugs and adolescence is a very bad mix. When the kid is supposed to be learning, while the kid is supposed to be learning to cope in the world, he or she is damaging their ability to learn to cope. Yeah. And then
he also adds, I'll get to it. Says Seaflux also asks, drug use can be a form of self-medication, but the way they affect the brain makes even fewer concerns about the needs of others.
Yeah.
And the brain of an 18-year-old is still developing.
Yes. So you're intervening in all this, right? Are you helping? Of course you are. But what are some of the things that you're doing with your son to help him out? And then I want to tell you about a personal story where I was in open heart surgery, just about to go in, and my sister gives me a call about her son being on crack and living on the street. And this is a kid who went to college on Long Island, NYU.
How old was he?
And he was about 19 years old.
So legally,
a good-looking, gorgeous kid.
But legally, he's an adult.
He's an adult, but they were still living. He was still living with his parents.
Right.
And he was basically hooked on crack for many, many, many years. I don't know how my sister didn't pick it up, but this kid is very, very sheltered. You know, he's not a big, coming out all the time and talking. He's very shy. And so, is that part of the characteristic that your son had?
See, that's the thing about my son. First off, I'm going to answer your first question. What have I been doing? Well, my wife and I both have tried to explain to him what the effects of drugs can do, because I've been a recovering drug addict for 20 years.
Yeah.
My wife has been, she's had some bad times with it as well. We tried to explain to him that for me, I didn't do drugs until I got married to my first wife. But my wife, on the other hand, did it during the same time frame he did. He's doing it. And we tried to explain to him the effects that it's going to do to him. And that her biggest fear is that he's so young that he doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground, and that he can get the wrong stuff and OD, and we would never know.
Wow.
And
he chose the worst drug that you could possibly get, which is meth. I mean, that's a horrible, horrible, deforming drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know. I used to do an 8-ball of crank every single day for 5 months.
Wait a minute.
No, don't go off.
No, I'm not going off on you. I want to ask you a question, though. No, this is a serious question. I'm not going off on you. So, do you think in any way he got that from you?
No. I'm a stepdad, and I came in way after the fact.
Well, wait a minute. How many years ago were you doing 8 balls?
I'm like, first of all, I don't brag about my drug use.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. What I'm saying is, how long ago were you doing 8 balls, if you don't mind me asking?
20 years ago.
And okay, so this was before he was in existence, before he was born.
That's what I said, way before his mother.
But there's something to be said about this, Donnie. Think about it. Now you would consider yourself that you were addicted to crack, which would be you were a drug addict, and you reformed yourself 20 years ago.
Well, he didn't say crack. He said 8 ball.
8 ball.
Well,
that's cocaine usually.
Same effect. And and then your son has that propensity. Do you think?
His stepson.
Oh, his stepson. Stepson, Donnie?
Yes. Huh?
Stepson or biological?
Stepson.
I see. Okay, so we can't blame hereditary on that. But I know that alcoholics usually have kids who have a propensity to become alcoholics.
I know.
And it doesn't skip a generation.
15 years recovering from alcohol. My biological father was an alcoholic.
Right.
I know the ramifications of it, but see, I never told my children about it until my middle son was already out the house, and I swear to God, they dropped their jaw down to the ground. A lot of people that know me from Blog TV know this story, but they didn't know it until 3 years after I started on Blog, and they were completely floored. They couldn't believe it. I had to sit there and try to explain to them that it's not something I'm proud of.
Right.
I don't sit there and tell my children, oh, well, I did it, so I just don't want you to do it.
Right.
I didn't even tell them I did it until after it was evident that they were doing it.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a history of that sort of abuse with the kid's real father or mother?
Well, his father was an ex-cop. And he
cop or con?
No,
I know. But what I'm saying is, no, he didn't. His mother has a very addictive personality.
Right.
So that's regardless. That's still not a cop out. You don't use that as an excuse for doing drugs.
I agree. I'm not saying it's a cop out. I'm just saying the reason I ask it is because of what Irvin brought up. It's not so much that I'm saying it's a cop out, but because of the hereditary factor.
Right.
I asked you because maybe if it was hereditary, and that's why it finally hit him to do that at 16 years old, is because there was a history of it in his parents.
No, that has nothing to play into it. It's the fact that he is what's the famous phrase? Time and accessibility. He had the time and he had the accessibility to this stuff. And see, talking about, again, I'm going to try to answer that question, Irving, about what have I done. Man, up until I had to go down to my dad's to take care of him, I was in my kids' ass left and right, knowing where they are at all times of the day, and they respecting my wishes and letting me know where they are. They would call me, let me know that they're okay. For the last 16 days, the only reason why I knew where he was 2 days into it was because I got in my truck and I went hunting him down on the last bit of gas that I could possibly use.
Wow.
And I told the cops, this is what pisses me off the most. I blame the system probably 60% of it. Because I told the cop where he is, but because it's an apartment complex and it's a status offense and not a criminal offense, they're not going to go knocking door to door.
Right.
But if I knock door to door, I'm causing harassment.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
It's either I put my foot in his ass, try to force him to stop doing what he's doing, just to make him worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I told my wife last night, she blames herself for the way of her children. They're past the age of accountability.
No, that's not even healthy. She's not going to help him out by her feeling
pity,
self-pity and all that. She doesn't need to do that. And not only that, but as I told my sister, because my sister was blaming herself, I said that's the worst thing that you could do right now is blame yourself. Instead, think of solutions to deal with this and stop thinking about self, oh, it's my fault and all that pity party. You just have to, because in reality, it really isn't her fault. That's not the case.
Because it's not biological.
Right. It's your son, as I've said, if he's bipolar, that's a medical condition. That is a disability. Dumpster Baby says it. Donnie, you can't blame yourself. And don't be too tough on your kid. If he is bipolar, he isn't going to be a normal thinking person. People suffering from bipolar disorder usually end up abusing drugs to self-medicate their manic depression. And so really it's your son that has a problem, not your wife. And the only solution to that is to be firm about drug abuse and that kind of stuff. Don't be pontificating it, but be more willing to understand and cope with the problem. He's got a core issue, and what is that core issue? Could be low self-esteem. It could be that anything, the way he grew up, that he's not taught. Maybe one little incident that happened in your house that affected him. Anything could be. And so it's dealing with the core issue.
Not wanting to cope with reality.
Not wanting to cope with reality.
Not wanting to become an adult and know that I have to get out there in the workforce.
Right. Exactly. And that was a big pressure for me. Because when I used to think of my family, we were always together. And then as I saw them go one-on-one, I started getting scared, like what's going to happen to me eventually. Right. And, so I got out of the house early. I got out of the house at 14 years old because of that. Because I was like, I might as well start now. So there's a lot of different reasons here.
I'd like to address what Wildcat said. That's the thing about my son. Up until he started doing the drugs, he was a leader in his social circle.
Right.
He was a positive influence on all his other friends. And once he got, I don't care what anybody says. I know the situation with my son. And, the diving board and everybody likes to argue with me about pot being a gateway drug. It is a gateway drug for someone who doesn't even know his ass from the hole in the ground. He went, and I've been right every step of the way. He started on pot, and now he's in meth. Because he's trying to chase that high that he got the first time with pot. And
Donnie, hold on, buddy.
Does it for him.
But let me interject there because we disagree on that. I think any drug can be a gateway drug. I just don't think it's fair to say that drugs are automatically a gateway drug, and particularly in the case of pot. I'm a person that have done a lot of different drugs in my life. I've tried some. Some I didn't have any care for. I tried cocaine maybe 3 times in my life. Didn't like it any of the 3 times I tried it, okay? This is back in the 90s. It did nothing for me because I'm naturally high-strung anyway. I didn't need that to make me high-strung. So I never did again. Okay, I played around with acid a little bit in the early 90s. Yeah, it was a great high, but did I want to keep doing it? No, I let it pass. It was something I did in my youth. And the list goes on. I can bring up other things. Mushrooms I've done. Mushrooms, pretty nice, natural feeling as well. But the thing about it is that pot is the one thing that I've probably done more than anything in my life. Of all the drugs I've done, pot's the one thing I've done more than any of them. And my point stands, is I've done that, and it does not make me want to do any other drugs. I mean, it's with me personally, it is not a gateway for me. It's
Anthony, let me address this, okay?
Go ahead.
The fact that you disagree with that's solely on your personal experience.
Right.
That's the reason why I make this statement that pot is a gateway drug for my son. I didn't say that in a general statement.
But Donnie,
my son, it was a gateway drug.
Right. But Donnie, excuse me, buddy.
There are people that are CEOs that can smoke a bowl and be successful. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not making a general blanket statement.
I know that, but
a specific statement.
But let me.
You, not knowing my son, can't say that it's not a gateway drug and can't disagree with me.
Well, but Donnie, I can say this.
Situation.
Do you know? No, hold on, Donnie. But do you know for a fact that pot was the first drug he did? Huh?
Yes.
So he even did pot before he took that bipolar medicine?
Yes.
So before anything else, pot.
I told you that Depakote is not a narcotic.
Well, regardless of that, I'm not saying, I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to argue whether it's a narcotic or not. But what I'm getting at is that before he put anything else in his body other than regular food and liquid, the first thing he did was...
I hear what you're saying, Anthony,
but answer the question,
Donnie, come on, man. I mean, I'm not trying to rail you. I mean, we're going into this because it's a good conversation. I'm trying to figure out if you know for a fact that pot was the first drug he took.
Yes.
You know that. Okay.
Yes.
How'd you find out?
Because, see, I don't know whether you could say that. I mean, I'm going to take your word for it because you're right. You're closer to him. You've been around him more than I have. You know him better than I do. I just don't know whether you know whether that was his first drug, or did he try coke first, or did he try acid first? I don't know the kid, and that's why I'm asking you: was pot truly the first drug he did?
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
All right. Well, Dumpster Baby says some bipolar episodes don't even need a reason. I look after my aunt, and she walked in on her cutting her wrist once. She is a wonderful person, but needs help fighting the darkness of her depression. She wound up taking drugs to self-medicate. We got her clean now, but we have no idea how dark their depression gets. Now, going back, you're his stepfather. Have you had a sit down with him other than talking about you can't do drugs, you can't do this, you can't do that? Did you ever have just a heart-to-heart talk, irregardless of the drugs, not even bringing up the drugs, but really focusing on the real core issue, which I'm not sure whether you know, and about why your son feels the way he is, even if it's irrelevant, even if it makes no sense to you. But in his mind, remember we learned this, perception becomes a reality. In his mind, he may be thinking stuff that you could never even fathom, even with your bouts with drugs. Have you ever sat down with your stepson and had a real long heart-to-heart talk, not bringing up the subject of drugs, but just bringing up the subject of who he is and what he's thinking?
Yes.
Okay, and what was that conversation like?
It was very up and down, and it took 4 hours to have that discussion with him because him and his two older brothers and his sister are very close to anybody talking about their feelings. Regardless of how open our family is about communication, they still feel that they need to be they need to shut down and give the one-word answers. I have had the heart-to-heart with every last one of my children, including my daughter that's our child together. You know, so it's not just, and see with Josh, he's different than his two older brothers. Even though they've had the same father, or they have the same father, I have been the only father Josh has known since he was 18 months old. Okay? The 16-year-old Josh, just so you know.
That's
And how does he feel about that?
How do I feel about
How does he feel about it? Do you know how your son feels about having to have you as his major father and feeling, because I don't care what anyone says, blood is sticking in water in many occasions.
I'll answer your question with the situation. His father calls the house one day. Okay, I'm sitting in my recliner.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 feet away. He answers the phone with the speakerphone. The father answers the phone and says, "Hey, it's your dad." He says, "No, my dad's sitting in his recliner." And then he says, "No, it's your dad, Jason." And he looks at me and says, "Hey, Dad, it's Jason." What do you think how he feels about me? He wanted me to adopt him when he was 9 years old.
And
He
did
has
you?
no respect, nor does he have any concern about his biological sperm donor.
Well, it basically sounds to me like it's just it's down to who he's hanging out with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling us the truth over the phone, Donnie, then it sounds to me like you and your wife, his mother, have done all you can for the kid, and that now it's completely the onus lays on the shoulders of his peers.
Yeah.
And who the hell he's running around the streets with.
Yeah.
And of course, being young.
But it's
being
also
young and rebellious.
psychological, because here you have a 9-year-old kid almost begging you to adopt him.
Well, he wants acceptance.
But listen,
he wants a father figure.
exactly,
Right.
and that's the point. That is maybe the core issue.
Right.
The core issue is he felt rejected from a kid, and believe me, Donnie, I used to think about my family at 6 years old. I would lay in bed for hours, depressed, angry, wishing I was born in a different family, and then. Look at me today. I mean, I got issues. And I believe that's the core issue with your son. The fact that he felt rejected by his own father. Now, this could be, in some cases, in some kids' mind, him being a male, a boy, could feel worse than his own mother rejecting him.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's natural.
The fact that you took up the slack is awesome.
This is the way I've always looked at it.
But sometimes that even doesn't help.
Right. I look at children in this way, and I told this to Heather early on when we had our kids, that what I've noticed with children, now that I have my own, is that for a boy is always more attached, and this is my opinion of what I've noticed, a boy is always more attached to their mother early in life.
Yes.
And then as they get older, they become more to their dad.
Right.
It's the opposite with a girl. A girl is attached more so, in my way it was, to their daddy.
To their daddy.
As a youngster. And then as they get older, they seem to go towards their mother.
Yeah.
Right.
Now that's what I've noticed. I'm not saying that's true with everybody. So I mean, what Urban says is correct. Is it sounds like your stepson he's already missing something in life, which he's been missing since what, 18 months old.
I mean, the fact that he's asking
you
to please
Donnie.
adopt him was
It's
a
a cry
clear
for
signal of crying for help.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, that also he would have felt more secure if you took the steps, and I'm sure that may have helped. Did you ever adopt him?
Good, and financially we're not.
But you never legally adopted him.
To be able to adopt him, and that's what's bugged me for the last 7 years.
So the answer is no, right?
He said legally he is not adopted.
And
because they don't have the money
maybe the system and all that failed you, that you can go in and adopt this kid, because that would have been the clincher. That would have been, this guy loves me. He went all out of his way to adopt me, something that was fulfilled, a desire that I had. And I'm telling you, Donnie, the brain is just amazing. This kid probably even thought that that it never really happened. I'm still a reject. I'm still not part of anything that, you know, my father left me, didn't want me, and that could be a very, very hard thing to get over. Some kids can't do it. I mean, I thank God that my family, despite how miserable they were in their marriage, my father and mother stood together for 32 years. My mother divorced my father and later regretted it. She said she regretted it. But, you know, I grew up with both my father and mother. No matter how abusive the house was, at least we had that component attached. I always felt that, you know, I had a good family.
Donnie, buddy, we got to go. Stay on the phone. I got to get your address, okay? Stay on the phone. We got to take a break. Donnie, the movie does not reflect the conversation, but you are getting a copy of Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. You are our first caller of the day.
You sending it to him?
I'm going to send it. Hold on. Too many talking. I'm going to send it to you, but Donnie, you got to give me your address off the show. I'm going to take the phone into the other room on the break and give me your address, okay?
I own the movie, Anthony.
Oh, you got it?
Oh,
you got it.
Well, you can send the hat back for her.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. I appreciate your honesty. We'll save it for the next caller.
Hey, Anthony, that's what I brought up when you brought up the whole DVD. I have over 650 DVDs and 970 on my computer.
Wow.
Well, that's understandable, but
the movies.
But Donnie, that doesn't mean you're going to have every movie we offer just because you have that many. I mean, eventually there's going to be one or two that show up on this giveaway that you're going to go, I don't have that movie.
Debbie Does Dallas.
I had no clue that you had that Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. And that's fine that you do.
No, that's cool, though. I think about his personality. Donnie would be interested in that movie.
Well, he's got it. That's cool. That's cool. So, anyway, Donnie, we got a break, man. Stay on the chat. Thanks for the call. Thanks for being so open.
Yes, thank you, Donnie.
Thanks
That's
for
great.
all of that information.
My level of respect is growing tenfold.
Saying, Derek, real quick, I'd like to address what he said before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, my son never ever knew that I did drugs until recently.
Okay.
So, and he never. Like I said, I did it 20 years ago. I don't even have residuals of it.
Right. Okay, that's good. But
thank everybody for the kind words, and I'll be talking to you guys later.
All right, thanks, Donnie.
Thank you, Donnie. You wanted to say something.
Well, yeah, I was just saying thank you, Donnie. It's been a pleasure, and just be an example, because I know kids that, especially at teenage years, they want a person to be not just a role model, but actually be a living example, because there's a whole lot of people who drop the ball and fumble the ball and saying, don't do what I do, do as I say, and they're not that type of the example that they should be.
Right.
But you always inform even if he does know about your past, and even had no residual on him, at least genetically speaking.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, or environmentally, always tell him, do better than what I did, because it's society always wants, the parent always wants their children, whether biological or adopted, to do better than they did at the same age they are now. They always want them to do better, because like I said, you're either growing or you're dying. But anyway, it's 10:04 right now, Eastern time in Macon, Georgia. You're watching the Morning Roast. It's 65 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia. It's sunny for right now, with a high of 85 and a low of 61. We'll be right back.
Second-grade teacher is out of the classroom for a rather bizarre allegation. She's accused of taping her students' mouths shut with Scotch tape when they wouldn't be quiet in the library. The incident happened today at Fulton Academy, a charter school in Aurora. Police are investigating, and the teacher is on paid administrative leave. A parent tells us this apparently happened to all or almost all of the 28 kids in the class, including her daughter.
My daughter's been in the house and begging me not to send her back to school.
said that she'll do good in homeschooling. She promises that she doesn't want to go back to a public school.
Couldn't she put it on? He was like, okay. And then, like, it started, like, to hold my mouth right here. And it's also hard for me to breathe with the teeth.
It's not okay. You know, kids shouldn't be in a situation where they think that's okay. Where you can take my mouth closed to make me be quiet. You're not their parents. You're not supposed to be physically touching the children. And now my daughter's scared to go back because she doesn't know what can happen next.
Aurora Public Schools issued a statement saying it's taking this seriously and will conduct its own investigation. We reached out to the teacher herself today and didn't hear back.
Ever had one of those days when nothing goes right? Your wife starts bitching about whatever it was she was bitching about last night. So you escape into the bathroom just to sit there on your throne. But after you finish your business, the toilet paper's gone. Well, it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's ass. It's a bad day, so you better get off my back. You might get cold cocked if you cross my path. 'Cause it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's ass. Well, I was running late for work, so I poured me some coffee to go. And just before I had a flat tire, I spilled it all over my clothes. When the highway patrolman pulled up, I thought that help was on the way. But when he saw the tire tool in my hand, he shot me with pepper spray. Oh, it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's ass. It's a bad day, so you better get off my back. You might get cold cocked if you cross my path. 'Cause it's a great day. Y'all can sing it. They're gonna do for me to whoop somebody's ass. When I finally made it to work, I was 15 minutes late. I told my boss about the flat tire, but he fired me anyway. So here I am out in the parking lot, just waiting by his Corvette. I'm gonna give him a goodbye present that he never will forget. Let's sing again. Great day for me to whoop somebody's ass. It's a bad day. Yeah. So you better get off my back. You might get cold cocked if you cross my path. 'Cause it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's ass.
So we're gonna make our own. You ready?
Let's do it.
Irv!
Let's do it!
What are you doing up there?
At least you didn't say it was me. At least you didn't say it was me, because hell, I'm bald with blue eyes.
Well, actually, yeah, that's you got us mixed up here.
I'm bald with blue eyes.
That's more Anthony.
It's actually a combination of Irvin and myself.
There he is. You see that? That looks more like you, Anthony.
That's funny on Donnie.
Hey, Donnie, I like that hat. See, now that's what we're talking about.
Donnie only makes that kind of hat for himself. He doesn't he doesn't make that for you.
Anyway.
What kind of hat was that he made you anyways?
Now we're talking. That hat looks really cool.
Well, that's why he kept it. He's not giving it away. It's his hat.
Great business. That's true country music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whip somebody.
That was cool. Where the hell did you pull this crap out of? I mean, that's amazing. Like, he pulls the shit that nobody else sees.
I eat special food.
Yeah.
That's what he does. I mean, hell, his ass is in the room all day. What do you think he's doing? He's got all day to look at shit. Look up shit. I mean, hell.
He does set us up for the next day.
It's 10:10, 55 seconds in the a.m. It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Hump day has gone away, and we hope you humped away.
Yes.
It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Flippin' Friday.
Yes, you're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House with Herb, Ant, DB, and Ed right here.
Baby.
Yes, we do. It's 60 in the last hour. It's 65 and sunny with
I only
a.
fell asleep twice during the show.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
That's good.
That's
Yeah,
not bad.
really
So
good.
show's
That's
all
not
good
bad.
today.
It's 65 and sunny outside with a high of 85 and a low of 61. It's going to be even nice and sunny for tomorrow for Friday though, but you might need an umbrella for the weekend for Saturday and Sunday.
Well, it's a hell of a lot hotter in Washington. I got a story about this Benghazi thing.
See you later,
Might as well
Johnny.
get that out of the way.
Yeah.
The U.S. diplomat who was second in command in Libya during the fatal attack on Benghazi consulate fought back tears yesterday when he told lawmakers about his colleague's final moments and said he was stunned by the administration claims that it was sparked by a spontaneous protest. Gregory Hicks, the first person to testify to Congress, who was on the ground in Libya during the fateful night of September 11, 2012 siege, told the House committee that he was incredulous just 5 days later when UN Ambassador Suzanne Rice said on the Sunday talk shows that the assault was not a terrorist attack. My jaw dropped, Hicks said. I was embarrassed. Hicks riveted the audience with a House Oversight and Government Reform Committee hearing room as he recalled the night. Shortly after we arrived at the annex, the mortars came in, Hicks said. The first was long. It landed actually among the Libyans that escorted our people. They took casualties for us that night. The next three landed on the roof, killing Glenn Doherty, Tyrone Woods, Hicks said, referring to the security operators who died in the attack. They didn't know whether any more mortars were coming in. The accuracy was terribly precise. A Korea State Department diplomat, Hicks, also told the panel yesterday that he was warned by upper agency officials not to talk to a congressman investigating the consulate assault, fueling GOP charges that politics was behind the administration's response. I'm going to cut it short there, but this smells like a scandal, doesn't it?
Oh, we said that from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, you even had to admit, even though it happened to your beloved Democrat,
and I said it early. I believe Hillary Clinton has something to do with it.
Yeah, you're a pro-Democrat guy, and you had to admit that this was fishy.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Seafood platter vibes all over the place.
It happened on 9/11, people. Can we get even more obvious? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It happened on 9/11. Right? Of 2012. We've said it on here. You would think that day for sure they were going to have some amped up security at these sort of places on that day. From this point on,
I mean, it would have made sense, even to somebody like me who's not all into that whole thing.
Right.
I was even thinking that day. It could have been late at September 10th, because I was on the computer thinking about, they haven't really announced that they're gonna raise the code level, and they haven't said anything about anything, except that tomorrow will mark the September 11th anniversary.
Right.
But they really didn't put out anything, security alert or nothing.
Well, but according to
the
stories we've been hearing up to this point, is there are emails that said they repeatedly asked for tighter security.
That's correct.
They repeatedly asked for help because they knew they were in a danger zone. They knew they were in the middle of the beast, the belly of the beast. So it's, of course it's got corruption.
Well, Hillary Clinton took the blame. She said the buck stops with me. And so now her presidential aspirations are going to be shot to hell. I don't think she's going to have a fat chance in anything. And that's unfortunate.
I don't
because
think she. I don't really think she had a chance before this, but you guys might differ.
No, I think she was sitting on a plane.
Well,
I mean, she did travel a
whatever
lot.
she did is gone now. But I really thought because of her advanced age and stuff, all this the stress that she was doing at just being a Secretary of State, she probably wouldn't even think about being president now because she probably would just run out of gas.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is,
alone.
You said whatever she did, whatever she didn't do is the question.
Good point.
You know, really, some inaction happened, and especially coming from, you know, we just ended 2 wars. I mean, you would think that there would be higher security. Okay, now they're calling in, they're trying to dissect this, that this place was just a consulate. It wasn't really a, what do you call it?
An embassy?
An embassy. And so it wasn't given priority. You know, it was a consulate. It wasn't really an embassy. Well, at this day and age, you would think that both embassy and consulate are protected.
Yeah.
Then why should there be a lower standard for a consulate?
Of course.
It's kind of like say you're at a mall, right?
Yeah.
The embassy would be like one of the stores at the mall, whereas like a consulate would be kind of like just a little lemonade stand, kiosk or something.
Kiosk, yeah. I mean,
something like that.
There's nothing else to say about it. Is that we just knew this was sort of coming.
Yeah.
I mean, these hearings are not going to go away. Who do you think they're going to eventually charge in this? I mean, do you think someone's going to go down for this in due time?
I don't think so. What I think is going to be is they're going to focus more on how not to make the mistakes again. Of course, anybody involved in all this is, you know.
So they're basically pulling a Macon police department.
Well, no.
With Sammy
wait a
Davis
minute.
Jr. Like, we're not going to do anything about it, but we're gonna know in the future how to deal with this.
Well,
we're try
let me say this on behalf of Hillary. There was a woman called Ms. Lamb, and we'll try to look for that, who had already testified earlier that she was the one who assessed the situation and didn't find it to be on the level where she would be proactive in trying to get them more security.
Went on the list, top priority.
Yeah, so Ms. Lamb. Let's look at Ms. Lamb a little bit more.
There you go. Take the lamb to the slaughter.
And take it to slaughter.
Take the lamb to the slaughter.
Well,
there you go.
And so I'm just saying, there were people up the chain of command who probably didn't deliver the messages far up to their chain of command.
It does sort of. It is reminiscent of the whole case with Sammy Davis Jr. in a way, on a higher level. Well,
yeah.
If you remember, it's the same scenario with the way the chain of command claims that they weren't informed. Obama says it never got to my desk. You know, Mayor Rickert says it never got to my desk.
Even though
Chief Burns, I didn't know it was going on.
Even though
Secretary I didn't know it was going on. You know, it's the same scenario.
And it's because they didn't bother to look. It's the same thing here. They did not bother to look whether there was any kind of petition or asking or whatever throughout the whole system. They didn't know that they needed security. I just don't know where their thinking was on September 11th. Why didn't she just make a couple of phone calls? We're on high alert. Make sure you let everybody know, and let's get all these soldiers coming back home, we have enough people.
Put some troops over there to guard that embassy. Have a higher security level over there. Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer. You would think it's a no-brainer, but we're dealing with the government, so there is no brain involved.
Who the hell knows? With all that flying around she did, by the way, she may have forgotten she had jet lag.
Who knows?
Extended jet lag. Dementia.
All I know is if I'm the family members of those that perished on that day, I would want answers, and I would be going after. I would be going after the system.
Yaruki.
Yaruki.
Because Saibuki is right after him.
Yaruki.
Yurak says, I know that somebody will say I'm trying to make it into a conspiracy, but one thing that is missed in most of all the reports, the location was a CIA Black Ops rendition site. One of the scandals is that it has exposed this. Okay, what is, just fill us in, Yurak. What is the CIA Blacks Option Rendition site?
That's Susan Lamb on the left.
Oh. Okay, the old.
Oh, there she is.
Lamb, Obama, Susan Rice.
Very
and
good. You
Petraeus.
see that? Ed
That's
is
Condoleezza.
brilliant.
I photoshopped that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
yeah, that's great.
I made her with a big
See,
hat.
even Ed's aware of Miss Lamb. That's the one that I blame because she already admitted that she didn't find the information of them asking for more security as something that should take high priority. And she admitted to that.
Yep.
So the lamb that's going to be slaughtered
is Susan Lamb.
Silence to the Lamb.
Silence, and that's a good one, Ed. Silence of
There's
the
a new
Lamb.
poster for you to make.
Hello.
Silence of the Lambs.
There are
Hello,
places
hello.
that we say don't exist. Okay, Iraq. So they're blacked out. Kind of like when they black out words out of some kind of a letter or
document
something.
yeah.
Anyway, this country's crazy, dude.
All right, let's do wordsmith.
Okay.
10:21, 49 seconds in the
Oh
AM.
boy, oh boy.
Wordsmith, page number, please.
Iraq, what's the page? Give us a page.
Somebody, anybody. Scream.
Okay.
Drum roll.
That's
Page 45.
45.
Now 1 through.
That's the one that came through first, Iraq. 1 and 2, Iraq.
10 of them.
10 of them. 1 through 10. All right, we have a 10-second delay.
You're always gonna have a delay.
Maybe going on 25.
It says 5.
Shock and.
What?
Shock and.
Oh.
AWE.
Shock and awe.
Wow.
AWE.
How about that?
Shock and awe.
Aw.
Oh.
That word could be used in different ways, huh?
I am in awe of the morning roast.
You're taking a dump. Oh!
Welcome to the morning dump.
That's a different awe. This is I'm in awe of Irvin's hat.
Yes.
I am really in awe of Donnie Curry's hat.
That's a good hat. That
Anthony
one is
Harris
okay.
is awesome.
Here's here's the word of the day. Awe. AWE. Old English had the word egg, E-G-E, meaning awe. But modern English awe, AWE, is a Scandinavian borrowing. The related Old Norse AGI, agi, steadily infiltrated the language from the northeast southwards during the Middle Ages. Agi came like age, from a hypothetical Germanic form agon, A-G-O-N, which in turn goes back to an Indo-European based ag, A-G-H, whence also Greek ekos, A-K-H-O-S, meaning pain. The guttural G sound of the 13th century English word, technically a voiced velar sperant, was changed to W during the Middle English period. This was a general change, but it is not always reflected in spelling, as in O and ought, for instance, which were originally the same word. So there's the word awe.
Ought.
That sounds like awe.
If you learned anything from Wordsmith, let us know.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're just doing this for our health.
Thank you.
We're doing it because we want to look smart.
Okay.
Well, I think it's very good in education.
I
to
think
have
it's
that.
great.
I
think
got to
it's
get around to adding those
one of
to
the
the
best
page.
segments.
I have not added the recent 5 or 6 to the page. I've got to get that book home, and I got to add mud. We had mud a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
We didn't add. I got to add awe. There's one other couple ones that we have a few days ago. I haven't added yet.
We have to look at the videotape to remember them.
I'll get it.
Yes.
I'll get it.
But
Anyway.
speaking of video, it's a
Speaking
video
of
that-
something that's not awesome.
It's not awesome, yes. We had a video, we had problems, but I'll go ahead and talk about the story. There's been a wretched daycare workers video kids beating a 2-year-old. 2 daycare workers are facing felony charges after a disturbing video surfaces of children fighting at the facility. 23-year-old Christina Woods and 22-year-old Jaquita Hollins have been charged with failure to prevent child abuse, child neglect, and 3 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The 2 daycare workers are accused of videotaping 3 children assaulting a toddler. The cell phone video shows kids beating up a 2-year-old. Police say was shot by the workers who laughed during the incident and did nothing to stop it. The victim's mother is outraged. How could someone do that to a baby? A 2-year-old? I can't trust another daycare. I really can't. I'm scared, said the mother, Dominique Johnson. Christina Woods and Jaquita Hollins could spend 6 years in prison if they are convicted. The state has since pulled the daycare's license and has shut it down.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes.
What the hell are going through these people's minds?
They
look, they fighting that 5-year-old and that 2-year-old beating each other up. Let's tape it. That's funny.
Wow, we put on.
What the hell are they
put on
thinking?
YouTube, make some money.
I mean, what the hell are they
Quick, get the camera.
I told
well,
you.
no, but that's a lot different, Ed. I mean, people tape stuff going on because you're right. It's that whole like chicken
the house
bacon.
is on fire. Update Facebook.
Yeah, tape it.
Call the fire
But
department.
what makes you want to record people fighting when you're supposed to be there to care for them? You're at a daycare. I mean, it's just beyond me, the idiocy of people in the world.
Well, you
I
know,
mean,
they love seeing stuff on camera, and they get off on that, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I was going to say something that sounded more important than that, but the fact
Right,
of the matter
that's
is,
the truth of the matter.
it's the truth of the matter is they like that stuff. I mean, look at how much Rodney King's video, how big a deal that was. And people kept watching it over and over.
Yeah, this is pre-YouTube.
Yeah, and the same thing with the Twin Towers. That almost drove me insane. They kept playing it over and over and over again. So they basically wanted to play it over. And then I also think about the time that we were in the park watching the birds. And people laughing when the little kids were being attacked.
By the birds.
Yeah.
Well, some of that does look kind of humorous,
Yeah.
though.
Especially the little girl moving her
because
feet
you
like
know,
this is
because
fake.
you also know that you're watching something that's fiction. It's a movie.
Wow.
It's being.
It could happen.
It could, but that in that case, it was a staged scene that was blocked. You know, with actors, and you know you're watching something that's not real.
Wow.
The
only
it's kind of a little disturbing knowing you're watching a video of a 2-year-old getting beat up.
Yeah.
By 2 other kids. I mean, no one doesn't do anything to stop it.
And that's real. That's not acting. So I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I have another story of another person, another woman behaving badly. Yes, a 52-year-old woman stalks herself. This is a Facebook frame of it. She stalks herself.
How do you do that?
Blames it on her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend. This is in Kent County, Michigan.
Jesus.
A Comstock Park woman faces criminal charges after police say she admitted to creating false Facebook accounts with her ex-boyfriend's personal information to make it appear that his new girlfriend was threatening her. Cheryl Nelson, age 52, is charged with false report of a felony and unlawful posting of a message. Nelson, over the course of a year between November 2011 and last October 2012, made at least 8 criminal complaints to the Kent County Sheriff's Department, saying she had been a victim of stalking, harassment, assault, and home invasion. On August 12, 2012, Kent County Sheriff's Detective Jason Russo handed a complaint in which Nelson alleged her ex-boyfriend Kevin Harzma and his girlfriend had left several threatening letters taped onto the front of her home, according to a probable cause affidavit for Nelson's arrest. After that day, Nelson made additional calls to police alleging more letters had been left. Russo wrote in court records. During the Russo investigation, an Ottawa County Sheriff's detective took a complaint from Harzma, her ex-boyfriend, regarding threats and stalking behavior displayed by Nelson. The Ottawa detective served a search warrant on her home for computer equipment, and Nelson made an admission that she had been false reporting crimes because she was not able to let go of her relationship with Kevin, Russo wrote. Evidence shows that Nelson used her computer to set up false Facebook accounts using her ex's personal information. Nelson used this account to make it appear that she was being stalked and harassed by Kevin's new girlfriend by posting threatening messages. So
that ladder's bigger than your head, Irvin.
at the size of that thing.
Like that. See this type of stuff you use to start cookouts with the grill or something like that.
Big ass light. Okay, so the lady.
Got it in Texas.
The lady is trying, because everything's bigger in Texas. The lady is basically trying to cause problems between her ex and her ex's new girlfriend.
Right. You notice how Facebook is involved in a lot of like crimes, and it's getting better than Craigslist.
Yeah. Actually, it's probably about to take his title.
I mean, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. When so many people are on something like that, it's bound to expose a lot of bad apples.
Saibuka says, "Where were the 2-year-olds gone? They would have never done it then."
Is that what?
The 2-year-olds they were fighting the toddler in the.
That's right, Saibuka. Give that 2-year-old.
Hey, I just want to give you a heads up, Derek. Job market on Thursday. Call the Department of Labor, Senate Career Center at 751-6164, and give them a job number of a position that interests you.
Okay.
It's a teabagger.
Thank you.
Why not?
I was teabagging.
This is a job opening up in Macon. It says job. It doesn't say jobs.
You know what job stands for?
One job.
Just over.
You want me to take that number down?
Yeah, matter of fact, I will.
Might as well.
Yeah, where's that ink?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, what's that number again?
Yeah, it's 478-751-6164.
751-6464. Okay, 6164. Okay.
Smell good?
And then you can see the jobs that are available on WMAZ's Job Market Thursday page. So, and there's a link to that. So maybe you want to get on WMAZ, follow up with that.
All right, Saibuki. So, what is your point as to why you film your boys fighting? Do you do it to teach them a lesson by showing it to them afterwards, or just for your entertainment? Do you do it to post it on YouTube? What is your reason for it? Question.
Uruguay.
And how old are they?
Yeah. Zurich says, did anyone see where Mark Zuckerberg started a tech company called Forward Us, which wants to open the border?
What border? North American Union. Here we go.
I have not heard of that.
You mean like you mean in Mexico or Canada? Or because they were talking about
he says North America, so he must be referring more so. Well, I mean, he can be referring to Mexico as well, but
we're so close to Canada now. Canada's almost like America light.
Frozen. Yeah, America light. Yeah, frozen America, just in the tundra.
Very pro Queen. Don't they give allegiance to the Queen of England?
Well, yeah.
Except Quebec.
Who? Canada?
Yeah.
I guess.
To an extent,
they're part
I guess.
French too, right?
Well, yeah, because they have both English.
Yeah, they have Quebec.
French Canadian. We're going to do a shout out real quick. Because 77, Saibuki, DS Photo Guy, Urak Wildcat, Ellen Macon, Tower of London, Harry Beavers, Mr. Dumpster Baby, and Unga Bunga.
Unga Bunga.
Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around.
Dumpster Baby says she is their queen as well, Irv. Yeah, I knew that when I was a little younger, but I found out late. Yeah, I was about 12 years old, and I found one of the $1 Canadian bill that was out during my time. I'm not sure whether they're using American dollars now, but and I saw the picture of the Queen on it, and it said Canada.
I remember I had a Canadian quarter. It had like a picture. It had like an elk or a caribou on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do have some local news. This is actually from Facebook. Colby Marshall Zampa, who's known as a dancer, who actually participated in last week's Dancing with the Middle Georgia Stars. She was the dance partner of I think the artist Mark Ballard. Actually, she now has a second book out now. It's called The Trade. It's The Trade, which is basically...
Is this newer or older book of hers?
That's why Mark Ballard
This might be one of her first books that she's now trying to get out there and sold more.
And it's funny because this is right after Mark Ballard danced with her. So maybe they were talking about...
oh, no, it is a new one.
Oh, okay, yes, I'm sorry. It's a brand
expected
new
publication. It's not expected to be out until July.
Okay, it's a brand new book that's coming
June.
out. Yeah, coming
June
out
11th.
next month.
What's the premise of the book?
It's about this reporter, Mackenzie McClendon, is on the trail of a next hot story, which basically a sadistic serial killer known as the Cradle Robber. This brutal murderer preys on pregnant women, slashing their infants from their wombs and leaving the helpless women to die while he disappears with their babies. And this is her second novel. She had one. This is her first novel she made since the novel Chain of Command, which is basically a story about the first female president of the United States.
Interesting. She danced with the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, locally. She's local. She does stuff at theaters, too.
She's
choreographed.
She danced with Mark Ballard. And Mark Ballard himself is an author, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, no way. He does cookbooks and stuff.
Does cookbooks.
I mean,
and he writes in a local
But she
magazine.
Colby she used to write for the magazine I wrote for, Making Food and Culture, and then she was also the choreographer on Elizabeth's Music Man. When they did the Music Man at Theater Macon, Colby was the choreographer. She does theater. She choreographs.
Yeah, she's really into her artwork.
She just kind of does all.
So it must be a good book.
Oh yeah, she's like me. She's a UGA graduate, and I can't wait to hear about your book, The Trade by Colby Marshall.
Can't wait to hear about it. Just buy it.
Yeah, when it comes out next month. Coming out next month, June 11th this year. It's by Stairway Press.
Let's address when people say funny things like that. When they say comments like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear about it." Well, why wait to hear about it? Why don't you just go find out for yourself? People always say that.
I can't because the book hasn't come out yet.
You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we all do that. We say a lot of things.
You just heard about it.
It really doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't because she said, "Oh, I can't wait to hear about it."
Well, hear more.
There you go.
Well, no. I can't wait to read the book.
Okay.
Okay? Because you heard about it.
Yeah.
And in past tense, it's just it's bad grammar, I think.
It's not bad. It's just everybody does it. I'm not picking on just Derek. If you really think about it, because we got some time to waste, let's talk about this. There are a lot of things we say in our everyday routine that we don't think about, but when you dissect it, it's really pretty stupid.
It's really stupid. I mean, I can't wait to hear about it. That's like, you know about the Twin Towers, and they're putting out a book, and you say, "I can't wait to hear about it."
Right.
Okay, how does that come across?
Or just simple things like, "How are you?" Sometimes people say, "How are you?" but they really don't mean it.
Right, and they walk away usually.
They don't really go, "How are you?" and really care how you are.
Right, and most of the time people say that like passing you.
Yeah, right. They leave a dangling question.
Exactly.
They just leave a dangling question for you. How are you? Bye. What the hell?
Dangling.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right?
That's a cool word, dangling.
Yeah, dangling. It's a dangle.
You have a ding dang dingle?
Yeah, you got a wing dang dinger. There's a wing dang dinger.
Oh yeah, yes.
That Ed sent you.
Yeah, I have one actually right here. Actually,
it better not be.
No, it's not some daycare center.
Okay.
But it says there's a Florida cop being fired for the 8th time after leaving police AR-15 with friend. Can you believe that? Leave a friend of assault rifle.
Hey, 8 times?
8
How many
times?
times?
Wait a minute. How do you
This sounds like worse than something.
Well, how do you fired 8 times?
Well, remember, what's his name? Steinbrenner, fired Billy Martin 5, 6, 7 times as a New York Yankee?
Yeah, but why are you rehiring? Is this guy fired and rehired by the same group, or is he fired from 8 different jobs with 8 different police stations?
Well, okay. I'll be glad to. Yes. The Opelika Police Department in Florida on Wednesday argued before an arbitrator that one of their own officers deserved to be fired for the 6th time.
Wait, I thought you said 8th.
Oh, fired. Well, that's by David Edwards, who did the story.
Okay, the story's already wrong because it tells us 6 times,
even though the title says 8 times.
Where does it say 6
That's
times?
another Telegraph blunder.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't a Telegraph. Okay, whatever.
One of the officers deserved to be fired for multiple times because he left his department AR-15 assault-style rifle with a friend. The department told arbitrator Gene Wood that Sergeant German Bosk should be terminated because he had left a city-owned 30-round assault rifle like the one used to slaughter 20 elementary school children last year in Connecticut in the hands of his then-girlfriend's father. Bosca's attorney, however, argued that the rifle was in good hands with the girlfriend's father, who Boss called Daddy, because he was a licensed security guard. Anyone can legally purchase this weapon, Union attorney Andrew Axelrod said on Boss' behalf. Not just anyone can purchase one from the Opelika Police Department's city attorney Joe Geller shot back. According to WFOR, Bosk has been fired 8 times by 3 police departments in Florida, including 6 firings from his job at Opelika. WFOR noted that Bosk was the most disciplined, fined, fired, arrested police officer in the state. Over the years, he has faced allegations of busting the skull of a suspect, beating juveniles, having drugs in the patrol car, stealing from suspects, falsifying reports, conducting an unauthorized car chase where 4 people were killed, and calling in sick from Cancun, Mexico.
Jeez
Wow.
Louise, man.
Wow.
This guy, you're right.
They should take that rifle and shoot him.
You're right.
Yeah. Arbitrator Gene Wood was expected to make a decision about Boss' job within 60 to 90 days.
Terrible.
Dang, you thought Clayton Sutton had a bad record.
Well, what I was about to say, this guy, this is the route Clayton Sutton might follow. I mean, this is what we're going to hear about Clayton Sutton in about 10 years.
Well, Uncle Bunga says amazing that Macon hasn't recruited him. By the way, Uric Wildcat, our official conspiracy theorist
from the Cat Cave,
says talking about this guy Zuckerman, whatever.
Black Ops.
Yeah. No.
Well,
Zuckerberg.
Right, but he mentioned the Black Operation.
The Black Ops operation, whatever.
Yeah.
And did anyone see where Mark Zuckerberg has started a tech company called Forward Us, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then he goes into calling it comprehensive immigration reform, but it is a code for open border policy for tech and web service commerce, promoting outside students coming in and take jobs from the United States. Canada is part of a Commonwealth. That's their only real link. That's Ibuki.
Mr. Dumpster Baby says you can't even, for the 8th time, you can't even get your job back at McDonald's if you fire for fucking up one time.
It seems like the police forces around the country just want to keep people on instead of trying to find real, genuine people that are going to do a good job. They just want to keep these half-assed people on, it sounds like.
Well, Diaz says, sounds like, they're going back to the guy, guy with the gun. Sounds like he'll be the newest Precinct 3 hire.
That's what we heard.
Well.
Uric said, at least they're not related. Wow.
Wait, who's not related? What's Uric talking about?
I guess Clayton Sutton and the guy from Opelika, the Florida cop.
Oh yeah, naturally.
Yeah, well,
as far as we know, they're not.
As far as we know, maybe there's a Kevin Bacon connection there.
6 degrees.
6 degrees.
6 degrees of Opelika.
Yeah. It has another. I have another wing dang doodle of a lost story.
We've only got about 20 minutes left.
Yep, roughly. Okay. Trooper who caused fatal accident gets sweetheart deal despite exceeding state limit for pot. Wow. It says if you're Nevada's NRS 484C30 is a crappy law. If you're a stripper, if you're a cop, well, not so much. Says the former Nevada Highway Patrol Sergeant who caused a fatal 3-vehicle accident in 2008 entered into a negotiated plea agreement that will limit his potential prison term to no more than 6 years. Edward Lattin, Lattin, a 22-year Nevada Highway Patrol veteran who, as a sergeant, supervised a team that investigates fatal crashes, recently entered a guilty plea to a single count of felony reckless driving causing death. The 51-year-old Lattin, who police say had more marijuana in the system than the state law permits while driving, was originally indicted under the same controversial Nevada law, which Jessica Williams was convicted following her 2000 accident that left 6 teenagers dead. The law controversy stemmed in large part due to the legal issues that allowed the jury to acquit Williams of driving under the influence of a controlled substance while still convincing her of driving with that same prohibited substance in her blood. Although the jurors determined Williams was not impaired, they also found that Williams had more than 2 nanograms of marijuana per milliliter in her blood. Williams' appeal was upheld by the state Supreme Court, which ruled the law did not require the driver to be impaired. This is what makes Lattin's plea all the more troubling. Lattin was indicted under the NRS 484C .430 law based on the testimony by authorities that blood drawn from the off-duty trooper immediately after the fatal crash tested positive for marijuana at a level of 5.6 nanograms per liter. Ladden faced up to 20 years in prison if convicted. It says that after announcing the plea agreement in open court, the prosecutor Bruce Nelson in the Clark County District Attorney's Office negotiated the case with Ladden because the blood test alone could not prove the former trooper was impaired at the time of the crash, which seemed a rather odd assertion.
Yes.
Considering Nielsen was the prosecutor who had previously convicted Williams under the same statute without proving she was impaired, this can't be dismissed as simply gaffe by prosecutors. It seems an obvious case of special treatment.
Wow. Okay. What's there to say on that?
What's there to say?
All I can say is that I was over there reading about Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. This
wait.
Well, so what do you?
Well, I mean, it's obvious again. Cops getting away with some crap, or trying to get away with some crap. I mean,
and he had the same.
He looks like Rickett.
Well, that's
even the same district attorney who basically indicted Jessica Williams. I guess who was the stripper back in 2000, who had who was in the 2000 accident that left 6 teenagers.
Go after the stripper, but let's ignore the police officer.
No, well. Hey, on some other news.
They always get sweetheart deals at the police station.
A beetle gets swarmed by grasshoppers. This is during his concert.
Wow.
The star managed to complete his performance despite being buzzed by a cloud of insects as he played on a stage in Brazil.
Isn't that biblical? That's something like the Bible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The beetle?
Locusts.
Yeah.
These are grasshoppers.
Oh, that's close to it.
Animal lover. McCartney, they're not. Are they animals? They're more like bugs.
It seems to me like John.
Insects are.
It seems to me like John Lennon got it wrong. It seems to me like Paul McCartney is better than Jesus, or better than God, or bigger than God. Well, John Lennon did say that.
Yeah,
is that what bigger than Jesus Christ?
Well, it sounds like Paul McCartney.
He said the whole group talking about themselves.
Yeah, it sounds like Paul McCartney thinks he might be.
I mean, a lot of people
One of
stop
the
buying
many
their records.
plagues of Egypt are hitting upon him.
Well, animal lover McCartney carried on for almost 3 hours in Gonania.
Well, he better, because those people pay a hell of a lot of money to see his ass.
Yes.
As he remained unfazed by the grasshoppers, which even landed on him during the show.
Well, they're just grasshoppers.
One remained on his shoulder for much of the show, and the musician introduced his new pal to the 47,000 strong crowd as Harold. As he sang Hey Jude, McCartney turned to Harold as he sang the words, "The movement you need is on your shoulder," adding, "It certainly is now."
It certainly is now, Harold.
The star. Why don't you say it the way he would say it?
McCartney turned to Harold as he sang the words, "The movement you need is on your shoulder," adding, "It certainly is now." Yeah, I do know.
Well, the star opened his Out There tour in Brazil this week and is due to travel across 6 countries in the coming months. His set lists have included rarely performed songs, such as "Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite." All Together Now, that's an old one. 8 Days a Week, that's an even older one, which he played live only once before with the Beatles in 1965. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, almost 50 years ago.
Lucy in the sky with grasshoppers.
You know, as much as they bad talk Paul McCartney, he was the Beatle that I first got attached to with his music because it was in the 70s. It was something that my older brothers weren't listening
what
to.
About 60s? You weren't attached to it in the 60s?
No, and John Lennon. 62. John Lennon.
Yeah, but
No. It was you were considered, in my day, they call them fag. You were considered gay if you liked the Beatles because of their long hair. You had to like Motown. You had to like, you know.
What about the Rolling Stones?
No,
like
as long as they had long hair. Now, my brother was a big Rolling Stone fan, Andrew Mampa.
Okay.
He's the one that brought him in the house. And so I got to learn the Rolling Stones when I was a kid also. But they weren't the Beatles. There was something about the Beatles that the kids in school used to hit on. They used to say, "Oh, you got to be gay to be a Beatle fan." You know, there was that stigma going around for a while. But anyway, Paul McCartney was the one that I would listen to, and it was because my brother Peter, who was younger than Edward, brought in Paul McCartney. And then later on, I discovered John Lennon during his last album that he put out, Starting Over.
Mr. Dumpster Baby says, John Lennon wasn't a nice man. He was abusive to his kids. He left one kid living in near poverty in the UK. He might have killed a man in Germany. And his idea of protesting was shooting up while in bed. That reminds me, Dumpster Baby, I saw a movie recently that Heather bought it for me. I think she gave it to me for Father's Day last year. And she had seen it before and thought I would like it. And it's called Poppin' Me. Have y'all heard of this movie? It's a documentary about this father-son filmmaker team that decided to go across the world, travel, and have all kinds of adventures together, basically to kind of bond as father and son. Well, they interview different father and sons from around the country in this documentary. Well, one person they come across and interview is Julian Lennon. Now, naturally, Julian's dad's no longer alive, but they sit down with Julian Lennon, who's hanging outside a swimming pool at some hotel in wherever, Bangkok or wherever he is touring, and they interviewed Julian Lennon for about 10, 15 minutes. And basically, Julian Lennon says in so many words what you just said, Dumpster Baby, that, that really, to be honest with you, that he says my dad really wasn't there for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It was hard for him growing up to accept, that his dad was who the nation and the world thought he was, because, here's his dad who's loved by millions and who's put on a pedestal and looked at as being this very real, down-to-earth, great guy with a great message and a great ideology. He says, but in fact, my dad was never there to be a good father.
Well, and it may go back to the fact that John Lennon was raised by his aunt, and that
because his mom was killed.
His mom was killed
by a drunken cop.
Exactly, and then his father was missing in action.
Yeah, which cycle back to our original conversation.
So I think that Lennon thought, in his own thinking, possibly, I'm saying, and this is all conjecture and this is all just guessing and opinion, but that he would be okay. It's not such a big deal. He's got his mother. I didn't have my mother.
Right.
And he even puts out a song called Mother, I think, where he's screaming in that song. And I can feel his passion, his anger. I can feel his pain in that song. I think he sang that song in real life. And so I think that Lennon was more about, it's worse losing your mother than it is losing your father. And you know where to find me if you want to look for me.
Depends. Well, yeah, I guess because she gave birth to. But I think a lot of them. But you have to admit though, it's really hard to lose your father to an extent, even if he was alive. It's probably because the majority of the people, like 75% plus of the hardened criminals that are in prison, didn't have a father to rear them, to raise them. So,
Ellen Macon Irv is not the oldest in his family, and he's not the oldest here. He's the second oldest here. Ed's the oldest here. It goes basically the way you see it. Oldest, next, baby.
Yeah, and I'm the seventh of 9.
Yeah, and Irvin is not the oldest in his family either.
Yeah.
So, hope that answered your question. Breaking news!
Okay.
Breaking news, or you're just testing it?
No, that's breaking news.
Yes.
All right.
I like it. Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and roll it in. Roll it.
No, I don't think you got the story.
Oh, yes. I'll go ahead and I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and preface it.
I love it when a plan comes in.
Yes. CNN caught faking Boston bombings broadcast. When CNN revealed by their own whistleblowing anchor, Amber Lyon, isn't busy running campaign state-sponsored propaganda and massive censorship, they are hard at work at perfecting the art of fake news broadcasts. Apparently, they believe such efforts will help them rebound from an 80% drop in viewership, where in reality, the public is tuning out because they're realizing on a massive scale that they're being lied to, manipulated by the government-controlled propaganda mouthpiece.
Yep.
Their latest mishap comes as Nancy Grace.
That's sad.
Their latest mishap comes as Nancy Grace pretends to be doing a satellite interview, which makes the viewer believe the latest updates in the Boston bombings are being delivered to the anchor from their on-the-ground reporters. As easily seen in the images, there was no satellite broadcast going on at all.
Randall68 says Nancy Grace is Satan.
You know what, Randall? Nancy Grace is from right here in Macon, Georgia, by the way.
Yes.
So that explains Macon, Georgia a little bit more.
And we talked a little bit about her regarding that Lauren Giddens murder.
Yes.
That she never covered it or anything. She's not covering the trial or anything.
Remember, I gave my opinion why.
Tell him what the opinion is.
Well, my opinion was because she is a graduate of Mercer.
Yes.
And Nancy, in no way, I think, wants to bring any negativity to her alma mater.
That goes to show you how Maconites think.
She does not want to bring any negativity to Macon, Georgia,
especially to her
having
alma mater.
it on her show, because I guarantee, had Lauren Giddens happened, had that case happened in any other city and state in the U.S.,
she would have been all over
that
that.
would have been her top ass
like
story
a condom on a
for
penis.
Like 4 months, at least.
She would have been all over that.
All over it.
Yep.
Spewing out her hate and everything.
But because it happened in Macon,
self-righteousness.
Georgia, and because both the victim and the suspect were graduates of Mercer Law, like Nancy Grace is, she said, hell no am I going to touch this story because this is not going to look good for Macon, Georgia, my hometown, and I will then show the world what a dump this place can be.
And one of the trustees at Mercer called me at 3 o'clock in the morning begging me not to do it.
Please don't do this.
Well,
please don't talk about this case.
Yurak says she covered it on one show, and that was shortly after the details of the hearing.
Oh, yeah.
But only once.
But only once. Wow, that's something.
She didn't cover shit because she went crazy. She went
and more
crazy. More breaking news. We need a sound effect with it. Glass crashing or something. It has to grab our attention. It's got to be like we're sitting here talking. So did you hear about what happened on wrestling?
Have Irving echo.
Case, as you know, she was found guilty of first-degree murder earlier today. In an interview with Phoenix station KSAZ, just 20 minutes after the verdict, Arias said she went blank when the verdict was read. Listen.
Was it unexpected, you think, this verdict?
It was unexpected for me, yes, because there was no premeditation on my part.
Well, Arias also talked about what she hopes for in sentencing. Listen.
Well, the worst outcome for me would be natural life. I would much rather die sooner than later. I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that still is true today.
The sheriff's office says Arias is on suicide protocol in jail tonight in light of some of the statements that she made in that interview. Also, Arias said she hopes that Travis Alexander's family can get some peace now that the verdict has been read.
How about that?
Well,
I'd rather have
I'm guilty.
Well, I mean,
she wants to live there for the rest of your life.
And she doesn't want to be the little. She doesn't want to. Yeah, she doesn't. I was about to say she doesn't want to be the little toy to a bunch of those big butch lesbians in that jail, in that prison.
There's soap.
There's
Hang
soap.
it up.
Don't only drop the soap. Get out on that soap.
They call me large.
She's gonna be bumping donuts for a long time.
He said it, not me. 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 He said it, not me.
Okay.
Right. That was kind of
the one time. Yes,
that's right.
73-1.
That's right. He's right. That's right.
There was a joke when Michael Jackson was alive.
Derek's got a better record than that basketball team that has like the worst record in history that hasn't won a game in like 15 years. Who was that team? That was some college. Oh hell, it's time for Daily Bread. It's time for Daily Bread.
Oh yes, me.
Time flies.
I wish Donnie Curry was here. Don't worry, Dad. Last summer, my husband and I hosted a concert and fundraiser for childhood cancer research. We planned to have the event in our backyard, but weather forecasts were dismal. A few hours before the event, we began calling on 100+ guests to inform them of a change of venue. As our friends and family began feverishly toting food, decorations, and equipment from our house to our church gym, our daughter Rosie took a moment to give her dad a hug and reminded him on behalf of the kids and grandkids that they were there for him. Don't worry, Dad. We got your back. Hearing that expression is comforting because it reminds us that we're not on our own. Someone is saying, I'm here. I'll take care of whatever you might miss. I'll be a second set of eyes and hands for you. As the Israelites were escaping a life of slavery, Pharaoh sent his army of chariots and horsemen to give chase, Exodus 14, verse 17. But the angel of God and the pillar of cloud went from before them and stood behind them, verse 19. In this way, God hid and protected them throughout the night. The next day, he parted the Red Sea so they could safely cross over. God tells us, don't worry as well. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:3-1. God's hands that holds the ocean's depths can hold my small affairs. His carry that guides the universe can carry all my cares. Anon. Our work is to cast care. God's work is to take care. And do not worry. The glory of God, of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Isaiah 58:8. There you have it.
Ellen Macon, it says y'all make fun of Donnie's situation, but it's not something to joke. No, we're not making light of it at all.
We never made light of it at all.
Not at all.
I don't know where you're getting that assumption.
We're not making light of the situation.
Maybe you're hearing yourself make fun of him.
What we're saying is that
we never did that.
No, we're giving him all the time he needs to call in and tell us what he wanted to tell us. You know, we didn't make him tell us that stuff.
And why?
I just wanted to know whether there was any kind of blame to be laid at his doorstep, because granted, there are kids that are going to do what they're going to do, and you can be the best parent in the world. I understand that, but also you have to realize and make sure that the direction the kid took is not due to the fact that maybe they were emulating their parents or their step-parents. And that's why I brought up to Donnie, you know, Donnie, were you doing drugs around the house, and did your little stepson see you do it? And that's my point. I wasn't accusing him of it. I just was asking.
Well, and I don't think he's saying you were accusing. He's saying making light of it.
Well, I don't have
and so, he got that because I says, I wish Donnie was here, and then he hears this. If Donnie was here, it would reinforce him, and it would encourage him to hear this. And that's it. Nobody's making light of anything.
Oh, I missed.
Anyway, enough said. I mean, it speaks for itself. You made a misstatement there. Period. Anyway, it's a good show. Let's say goodbye to our...
Period. Yeah. I got urges. Period. You made a mistake. Forget about it.
So here we go.
Flip It Friday tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yes. Want to thank all our guests right here. Because 77, Saibuki Diaz, Photo Guy, Yurik Wildcat, Ellen Macon, Harry Beavers, Mr. Dumpster Baby, Randall 68, Unga Bunga, and those who came here earlier. I think it was a Greek one.
Yeah, we had Greek. We had Greek for a short time.
Then we had Donnie Curry for a while.
We had Donnie Curry for a short time. We had the Bean.
We had the Bean
was here for a while.
Oh yes.
Graybeard, you said already.
Graybeard and Edward Mampa. He was here
earlier.
Thanks.
Pink Unicorn.
Lowell Register Ventures was here.
Yes.
Thanks for the call, Donnie. Sorry that I had a movie you already had.
Tara London is on. I wonder what message she wants to give.
She's just got it on and listening. She's probably figuring what the hell with this. She's kind of down. Heather's down a little bit because she now doesn't have her job anymore since she.
All right, you guys.
Well, keep your head up.
Keep your head up, baby girl. I'm coming home. I'm leaving here. I'm
Look into the camera there.
Well, he's on Derek.
That's what I mean. Look into the
keep
camera.
Your head up, Heather. I've been out
there
for 2.5 years. So
let him see your eyes.
Maybe there's
either
here we go.
good-looking girl or a gay guy.
Here comes a Here comes a Lifetime movie. Here comes the Hallmark Channel. Look at my eyes.
Danica Suda.
Look at my eyes.
Hope you're watching. Say hello.
Remember that movie? Look into my eye. They are alien.
Come to me.
That was Ray Milland and the man with the X-ray eye.
Oh yes, you're right.
Look in my eyes.
I haven't seen that.
They are alien.
I haven't seen that movie in about 25 years, 30 years.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a new movie tomorrow. No one called to get Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla. And no, it's not Bella meeting Irvin. But That would be a Brooklyn orangutan.
Yeah.
But we're going to have another movie. I'm going to put another one up today when I get home. I'm going to take a picture of the cover. And tomorrow's show, we will give away another DVD. Maybe that one strikes your fancy. Maybe Donnie Curry doesn't have
It's
that
nice
one.
that, well, I don't think he has the Man with the X-ray eyes either, do you?
Well, I don't have that one either. And if I had it, I wouldn't give it away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only giving away ones I don't want. Or that I have no desire to watch again.
The shitty one.
Well, not necessarily shitty. It's opinion whether it's shitty or not. It's just things I don't want.
I mean, there's two guys in that movie.
If you and like
that
5 other people in the world have got a copy of it, it probably must devil on this.
Hey, there were two guys in that movie who were supposed to be Jerry Lewis.
They look like
and
Jerry
they look
Lewis
like him,
and
and they're fake ones. It's kind of like
Pacioli
that
and
second
Duke-
Dumb and Dumber movie.
It's
Remember
Duke
that?
Mitchell and
Charlie Callis.
No, it's Duke. It's these two guys that are obviously were hired to be wannabe Martin and Lewis's, and they put him in this movie. You know, and poor Bella Lugosi, man, that guy. Man, talk about a dreadful career ender. I mean, that guy was so down in the dumps. He was hooked on heroin or morphine. The guy was getting no work. I mean, what a dismal last life he had. Only Ed Wood, thanks to Ed Wood, could Ed Wood give him work.
I wonder how much he paid him. $35.
Very little. But the thing about it is that poor Bella, I mean, you know, he's known as this iconic vampire, Dracula. And then other than that, all his other movies is kind of like, well, White Zombie's a pretty good movie too. I think he was in White Zombie. But, you know, some of those Bella movies are just, oh, poor guy. I mean, talking about just hanging on to a dream. You know, I'm an actor. I got to work. I got to get these movies. But just like some of the crap that he did.
I know, yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Why don't you say goodbye like Bella Lugosi would say?
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
It's 71 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia.
Children of the night. It's time for us to leave.
Goodbye, Chenyenko.
It's 71. It's 71 degrees outside of Macon. Keep yourself, keep cool. It's going to be a high of 86,
Stay
low
out
61.
Of the sunlight.
And one more thing, take care, Gamer Girl.
Yes,
hope you're doing well, and hope your husband's doing well. Be able to.
This is what I call a long goodbye.
DS Photo Guy. Happy birthday. I want to suck your blood.
Yeah.
Or this one.
1 count. 2 counts. 3.
3 jackasses.
There's 4 in this room. There's 4.
Well, 3 on camera.
Yeah, let's not forget
Have a good day. Be good. Little new edition.